Donna Daring. Now, I don't know if you've seen her or not, but you
can
see her pictures on OVWWrestling.com.
Really?
Might be enticement to some of you folks to get down to the show.
It's not like looking at Sin, is it?
No.
Okay.
No, a little better than that.
All right.
Also, we've got, of course, Matt Stryker will be there defending the HWA Cruiserweight title. Shark Boy will be in the building. Nick Dinsmore, Rico Constantino are coming from OVW. Cody Hawk, probably Nigel McGuinness. Lots and lots of people. Of course, Brock Guffman in the A Squad. Someone I think you might be familiar with.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
I thought so. Yeah, so it looks like it should be a good show. Like I said, tickets will be on sale. I think they're $40 for ringside, $20 for general admission, and I think children's tickets are a little cheaper, but I'm not sure about that. But give us a call, 513-771-1650, and we'll hook you up with tickets.
And, of course, that also gets them a mission onto the boat.
Yes,
free boat pass.
Yeah.
And we will also be giving away tickets here on the Wrestling Guys, too.
Also, I think we usually do a deal. If you come down to the Tuesday night showcases, which are free down here in Cincinnati, we usually do a 2-for-1 deal if you come to the building. So it might be a good time to come down and see some free wrestling action and also pick up some tickets a little bit cheaper. So
yeah, how are those Tuesday night shows going?
Pretty well. We just, of course, had one last night, and weather's getting nice, but we're still packing out the building, so pretty exciting. Running out of seats.
Well, that's a good thing. What kind of things can you tell us that are going on with the HWA right now?
Of course, we have Shark Boy got destroyed last night by Ray Steele and the returning Bobby Casanova, the missing member of the GQ Corporation. He was kind of a surprise guest there in the building last night. The big news last night probably was that Nigel McGuinness has married Tina Ambrose to stay in the country. Kind of a shocking development. Time Bomb wasn't very happy about his
new
husband.
She's been talking about this new boyfriend that she had for like the last couple weeks, and no one knew who it was.
And they were pretty surprised.
That doesn't seem like a fit for Nigel.
Well, I think when you're desperate to stay in America, you'll do just about anything.
Oh, so you're saying
never mind, we won't go there.
So you're saying it was a business proposition, probably.
I don't think Nigel would admit that, but chances are pretty good that that's the truth story.
All right. What else you got, Kirk?
Well, lots of stuff going on. Join us next Tuesday night, of course, another free show. And like I said, we'll have tickets on sale there in the building. Hope to be up in Dayton, actually, on public access soon with some of our showcase shows. I need to check on that and see how that's going, but we've laid down the commentary for some of those tapes, so that should be happening soon. Tapes will be on sale soon. Lots of things happening. Make sure you check out the website, www.hwaonline.com. We'll keep you updated on the casino card, all that kind of stuff. You can check it out there.
All right. Kirk Shepard of HWA, thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having
me. All right, there you go. Big announcement. You heard it here first. That the date is set, May 11th.
You know, that was a big announcement. I really enjoyed it, but I was hoping he was going to be on eBay, too.
Who?
Kirk.
Kirk Shepard?
Yeah, himself.
Well, maybe he will.
That way I could have him and Road Dogg both come to my house and fight each other. You've got extra chores, right?
There you go. And if anyone was down there the last time, then they saw, of course, Ray Steele. Basically, he won the heavyweight championship from Shark Boy after GQ Masters basically interfered, and GQ is Ray Steele turned against all the fans and actually went with the GQ Corporation. Then Jim Cornette came out and said that he wanted to bring somebody in to challenge him for the belt. So actually, I believe the belt's going to be on the line. I think the HWA heavyweight championship.
How huge would that be?
Ray Steele versus Chris Benoit.
Could you have Chris Benoit showing up on Raw with the HWA?
It's very possible. You know what? Anything can happen in the WWF.
Or the HWA.
That's true. I'll tell you what, let's go back to the phones, and we have on line 4, Sneaky Pete and Tomboy. We have both of them?
Well, Tommy Boy had to go back to work.
Oh, I understand. Okay.
So, and me being his boss, I kicked him out.
Wow.
All right, that's good. So what's going on?
Not much. I was just calling to say about the PTA whatever thing.
PTC, yes.
Yeah, I'm watching NYPD Blue last night about the same time as, wrestling would be on.
Uh-huh.
I see, excuse me, a young girl taped up, murdered, and you see her naked butt right on TV.
Right.
Yeah, that's like an award-winning show. No one misses NYPD Blue, but everybody gets on wrestling.
Well, here's the argument that I would say to you, though, on that. You go into any Toys R Us store, and you cannot find any NYPD Blue action figures, but yet you can find countless and countless amounts of wrestling figures.
And that's a big argument. I spent a lot of time on the PTC website last night and doing some research for someone, and their big argument is not so much the content of the show, or so they claim, but it's more how it's marketed to children and when children would likely see it. NYPD Blue, if I'm not mistaken, is on from 10 to 11.
10 to 11. Has a big thing on the very beginning where it's saying, hey, don't watch this.
Whereas Raw starts at 9, which is considered part of the family hour,
Yeah.
I guess.
I think up until 10 o'clock
Up until 10 is considered the family hour. So that's the biggest gripe by the PTC. But wrestling is not all they've targeted.
No.
They have a buttload of, and I don't want to quantify a buttload, but there are a lot of TV shows that
How
they
many
have
courts are in
targeted.
that? How many courts are in a buttload?
7.
Seven, thank
Is
you.
there a buttload measuring stuff? But they do have more shows that they target, and if you go out to their website or check any of their literature, they will gladly name them for you. And you'd be surprised at some that are on there. I mean, Ally McBeal's on there, Spin City was on there.
Well, Ally McBeal is because, Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, exactly. Just Shoot Me, Friends, all those shows are being targeted by the PTC.
Sure.
Anything that's popular that they can ride on.
Exactly. That they can get a little bit of sponsorship out of.
So basically, we have to watch Gomer Pyle reruns for the rest of our lives.
There you go.
Sure.
Well, I'm sure there's some.
I'm sure TNN's going to carry those pretty soon too.
Now the one
because
thing
they got pop.
The one thing you'll see about the PTC is they'll tell you they're exercising their freedom of speech to inform parents and the public, but the ultimate result of what they want to do would put these shows off the air and affect people's ability to make a living and affect our ability to be entertained.
And
our right to be entertained.
The PTC has, PTC has every right in this country to do and say whatever they would like. But I also have a right to call them overzealous religious hypocrites. So, there you go. That's my little piece on the PTC. Nice little nutshell. That's why they don't ask me to write like a newspaper column or anything, because that's all I'd write. Stinky Pete, you got anything else?
I was just wondering when we're going to start seeing more ECW and WCW wrestlers filtering into the Monday and Thursday shows.
ECW, I'd say you'd see a little bit more of than WCW. They don't want to do a lot of cross-promotion. But one thing I heard, though, today was, well, you have Austin and Triple H as basically your top heels in the company right now. Who's your top face?
The Rock and Jericho.
Okay, The Rock's gone. The Rock's gone too. Yeah.
And Jericho's teaming with Benoit now.
Right. So you can have him go against Triple H and...
Well, you have The Undertaker and Kane.
Well, that's what's supposed to happen at Backlash. It's supposed to be Undertaker and Kane versus Austin and Triple H, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me, well, yet, anyway.
That equals a low buy rate.
That's a very low buy rate. But here's my thing. It's like, all right, well, even after that, The Rock is gone, supposedly, till maybe June or July. At least June. So you're going to have another pay-per-view after, actually you're going to have two more then.
Right.
Okay? Who are you going to put? I mean, you're going to have Austin defend the belt against somebody, high up at some point. So they may actually bring in a WCW face for that.
Or maybe Shane McMahon.
I don't know.
He is WCW.
It would not surprise me to see Hunter turn face. It would not surprise me at all.
Well,
he can turn face, and at SummerSlam when Rock comes back, he can go back heel. What you're starting to see is what a lot of people have been saying for a while, is that while the WWF has all of this talent available, they don't have a lot of depth at the main event level.
No, they don't.
And the Hardys are talented beyond belief.
Right.
Everybody in the WWF is talented with the exception of Billy Gunn. But you don't
go out on a limb there, Cam, or anything.
They don't capture the attention that The Rock or some of the main eventers do.
Well, that's true. And actually, and I know we didn't talk about this because I didn't want to, because I don't like to spoil things on this show. I mean, if you want what happens tomorrow on SmackDown, call the Wrestling Guys hotline, 285-0991. But there is something that happens tomorrow where it does appear that they're trying to elevate someone into a main event status. And I don't know if that's going to play very well.
I would equate that to what the old NWA did with guys like Ricky Morton. When Ric Flair didn't have opponents, they went after Ricky Morton, and that attracted a little bit of attention and put on a good show. I'm not sure today, doing it the way they're doing it, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
It is going to be interesting, and at the same time, I just don't get an idea that the WWF has really knows what it's doing, or is really going to be trying hard for the next couple weeks. We'll have to wait and see. We got to go to a break. Sneaky Pete, thank you for your call. And when we come back, we will have more calls from you, the listeners of the show, and that's exactly what we want.
Absolutely.
Right here on the Wrestling Guys.
On Buckeye Country 106.5.
And working the board like no one else can work it.
He's smoking.
One thing I want to talk about, WCW is going to be back in action in Piqua, Ohio. That's this Saturday at the Piqua Guard Armory, which is right off of 75 in Piqua. You know, what is their phone number? I don't have it written down.
It is.
Do you know what it is?
285-0689.
There you go. Okay, so give them a call. You'll see a lot of people up there. I know Logan Kane, I believe. Hopefully one of those guys. I haven't got a card. They didn't give me a card of what's going on. So hopefully somebody from VCW will call up and...
From what I understand, the fans are going to determine the stipulations on the main event.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's a hardcore match. Right.
Versus Suicide Solution, Final Solution. Devers, Real Deal Dave Devers is supposed to make his return.
Oh, really? Okay.
So he's back. Okay. And then the fans will dictate the stipulation of the match.
That should be very interesting.
That could be illegal, actually.
That could be deadly.
Depending on I've seen the fans in Piqua. You've seen the fans in Piqua. It is crazy and probably against the law.
It might be. It might be. So that's going on this Saturday. So, and check that out. Support your local independent wrestling in this area. Let's go back to do we have?
Those are correct.
Those are all right. We have on line 8. Let's go to Bud Rowe. Bud Rowe, you're back.
Yeah, I'm back after the commercial break.
All right. Welcome back after the commercial break.
Thank you for the compliments.
Oh, no problem, Cam, the smartest guy in ECW.
Absolutely. See that? I'm the smartest guy in ECW.
Yeah,
you hear that?
In ECW?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's copyright infringement.
I think that's why it got blown up.
Copyright infringement, or, you really don't want to talk about ECW. I mean,
we don't want any trouble. We don't want any trouble.
Okay. Let's go to line, what is that, line 7? Line 6.
That
all right,
other line.
Sure, whatever it is. Rochelle, you're on with the Wrestling Guys. Hi, how are you?
Good.
What is your wrestling question this evening, Rochelle?
Whatever happened to X-Pac?
Good question. Excellent question. And
she's about as smart as you there, Cam.
Excellent question.
We got to screen these calls better.
Because for ever since he came back to the WWF, he's been non-existent almost.
Well, I'd like to see X-Pac and Spike Dudley go at it.
They're trying to do stuff with him, but I just can't get interested in it.
But I think that Spike Dudley and X-Pac, Spike Dudley, I think they're going to keep just jobbing the guy out. Of course, they do that with everybody.
Did you hear the pop when Albert launched him from the...
Oh, yeah.
Spike is a bump machine.
How odd was that? Sitting there, watching that, listening to that pop, and then imagining the majority of people in that crowd have never seen that done to Spike Dudley before. How sad a statement is that?
That's a very sad statement. And speaking of, though, if you've never seen that happen before, now ECW did put out, even though they're done, even though they filed for bankruptcy, they have put out 2 more videos this week.
Good. I hope they keep cranking
One is Barely Legal, so the very first pay-per-view that ECW, a lot of people consider to be a classic.
Absolutely.
And I don't remember what the other one's called.
I would encourage...
there's another one.
I would encourage a lot of fans who are just getting into wrestling over the last 2 years to check out early ECW stuff.
Most definitely.
You'll see what was going on then is going on now, but to a much more hardcore extent back then.
I actually have both the Hardcore Revolution and Path of Destruction, both of those DVDs.
So, Rochelle, to answer your question, I mean, where is X-Pac? We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know where he's at. All right, thanks, Rochelle.
Thanks.
But both of those, and there is, on Path of Destruction, there is absolutely one of the best matches I have ever seen. It's a fatal 4-way against Pitbull number 2, Shane Douglas, Too Cold Scorpio, and Chris Jericho.
Right. And it's almost, you almost stop yourself from saying, you remember Too Cold Scorpio from the WCW days, and that character he was in the WWF.
Right.
And you look at his ECW stuff, and it was phenomenal.
Yeah,
It was.
You actually gave me an idea for another WCW name.
Okay.
Think about this. WCW Put Out.
All right, I'm going to add that to the list.
You might as well. Give them something other than what they've got.
I'll make sure I contact Wade Keller and tell him that we came up with better ones. All right, let's go back to the phone calls. And L2K, you're on the Wrestling Guys. What's going on?
Nothing much. I got a name for WCW.
Sure.
For bigger ratings, we can call it the Playboy Channel.
Call it the Playboy Channel.
Yeah, people will be like, hey, that's the Playboy Channel. They'll be flicking them.
All right. Yeah, then maybe they're going to get, free Playboy on TNN.
Yeah. And the other thing is, if Triple H...
What'd you do, Joe?
Is Triple H?
Is Triple H? Yes,
The
he
answer
is.
Definitively, yes.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is Triple H.
L2K, hopefully you get a chance to call back. And we'll get.
Sorry about that.
What else you want to... There you go. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for the delayed reaction.
I have a thought. I have something to ponder.
Sure.
Did anybody watch Tiger Woods and the Masters?
Yes, I did.
No.
How about
I
this?
hate golf.
The most exciting golf ever was being played Sunday, and here's how they call it.
They should do excellent.
I certainly have enjoyed this excitement. It's like, I'm sitting there thinking, where is JR when you need him? He is the by God Masters champion. Damn him. I mean, that was killing me.
Par 3.
You're going to give Vince some ideas that we don't want to go with. I mean, look at the XFL.
XPGA.
That'd be interesting, actually, because the XFL is doing so well. I mean, I haven't even watched it.
To save capital, you take the XFL players and give them golf clubs. Scatter them over 18 holes.
That's great. That's good.
Keep the cheerleaders as caddies.
Have a race to the ball, like who gets to tee off first.
No honors in this game.
No, not at all. Not at all. And there is no double bogey in the XFL.
No double bogey.
No double bogey in the
if
XFL.
You can't make it in par, we'll shoot you.
They can actually start the game by having them run out to the tee.
Yeah,
the person at the tee gets the...
For those of you who don't know, the XFL is not doing very well. In fact, got a 1.7 rating this past Saturday.
I gotta admit,
with a 24-0.
I don't think it's bad football.
It's not bad football, but you know what? I would watch it if I was home on Saturday night, and I'm not.
The main problem, and Vince falls victim to this even in wrestling, overhyped.
Oh, most definitely.
That's the biggest problem. He came out and said, I'm going to give you something different. Well, yeah, because the rules change from week to week. You're getting something different, all right. You're getting something different than you saw last week.
Yes.
And it's hard to follow that way.
Most
3
definitely.
rule changes in a week, that's ridiculous.
Now, isn't the big game at the end, isn't that this weekend? Is that this
it's
weekend?
now called the $1 Million Game.
Oh, the $1 Million Game.
Right.
I thought it's not this weekend, but next.
Next weekend.
Next weekend.
I mean, who's in the playoffs? Who did?
That one team.
There you go. We're gonna
It's
throw
2 of
this
8
out.
teams. So it's 2 of 8 teams. We know that.
Here's what I know about
Well, it's got to be like 4 of 8 teams right now, right? If they're having 2 games.
I know that He Hate Me plays for Las Vegas, I think. That's
Yes.
all. He Hate Me. That's all I know.
He's in it.
That's all I need to know. I love that.
Now,
if I could see He Hate Me all the time, I'd watch it.
Who was the undefeated? Wasn't there? There was an undefeated team though,
But
wasn't
they've
there?
been beat.
Oh,
That was
they
the
have.
Hitmen.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Might have been.
So the Hitmen have been...
I wonder why they were undefeated.
Yeah, really. Who wants to go up
Hey,
against
look,
those
I'm
guys?
trying to lure Brett back into the Feds, so once you guys job to this game, Hitman, it's kind of a...
Anyway, let's get back to...
I got it.
What's that?
WCW XFL.
All right, I'm going to write that down.
WCW Jurassic Park, The Lost World.
There you go.
WCW. No Hogan here.
No Hogan here, that's right. There's no Hogan in the WCW. Let's go back to the phone lines. This man was voted the hotline caller of the year for 2 years in a row. He is none other than the Spanish Fly. Fly, are you there?
Hey, man!
What is going on, Fly?
I have been on hiatus.
You have?
Yes, hiatus Rodriguez, this broad I met at the bar. No, seriously.
I thought you were going to say I was on hiatus minus the atus.
I don't get it.
Okay, that's fine. Go ahead.
No, actually, I was kidnapped with Daryl Strawberry.
You really?
I hope they
were
didn't
very
find
gentle.
you. I hope they didn't find you in the same party that they found Strawberry.
No, I was in the bar right across the street.
Okay.
All right, that's good.
So what's going on, Fly?
Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, before Austin made his little turn thing,
Yes.
I'm watching TV with my son, watching wrestling, and we're having a good time, And then they throw
Was
in
that
a
like
beer.
Spanish larvae or something?
Yeah, Spanish larvae. That's right. That's
One
what it
of
is.
my children. I don't know where the rest of the little... Anyway, so we're watching TV, and somebody throws them in a beer. And it's a bush, but there are these two little letters beside
I
it.
saw
Yes.
that.
Hey,
Yes.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, Spanish Fly, that's a crime, isn't it?
I started crying, and my
Did
son
you?
was devastated. You're like, Daddy, what is that? I said, I don't know, son. We haven't watched TV ever since then, mainly because I broke it.
Right. Well, did you ever, some people would want to think how he can down 6 beers like that
Because he
quick
spits
succession.
half of it out.
Well, that's true.
He party fouls more than anyone I've ever seen in my life.
I wonder what his dry cleaning bill looks like, man.
I love it when he gives The Rock one, because The Rock will just spit it all out. The Rock doesn't even know how to spill a beer.
I bet Austin smells worse than me.
No, well, maybe that's why it's non-alcoholic, though. Maybe that's why he's spitting it out.
That stuff smells like skunk piss, man. That's pretty bad. Oh, okay, I got a couple of names.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
WCW.
Yes.
They're more of slogans than names.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's see, WCW. Get your television remote ready.
Okay. I like that one.
WCW, the XFL of wrestling. And, let's see, WCW, the same old suck wrestling.
Wait a minute, the Spanish Fly just censored himself.
I did. He did. I
Outstanding.
that. He's been...
No, I've got a cold, man. I sneezed just then.
I understand. Fly, what else you got, buddy?
Let's see, that's about it. That's, daylight savings time thing, so I'm behind in my drinking,
I
man.
understand.
Yeah. So I gotta hit the bars, man.
What was
Hey,
that?
wait a minute.
Was that like his going out? Does Fly have going out music now? Hold on, Fly. You might have going out music.
Oh, get me up. Hey, Cam, how about that GED? How's that coming along?
And
what about the itch downstairs? I know you told me about that last time.
The itch downstairs.
That's clear
No
up.
doubt.
Did the ointment I gave you work?
There you go. Fly, you got a little... You want to go ahead and say your catchphrase?
All right, I'm the fly. I'm the guy, and I will see you shooting up with Dale Strawberry.
It says a lot about our...
He borrowed that catchphrase from me, right?
I understand. What, the shooting up with Daryl Strawberry?
No. The I am the fly, I'm the guy, I'll see you under the bar.
It's
derived from.
Well, it's a clever takeoff of...
Absolutely. He's a
your
clever
catchphrase.
guy.
Yes.
He's a clever guy.
Actually, are we going to break? Is that what you're telling me?
I guess so.
Well, all right, we're going to go to break.
I just feel like jamming the Billy Gunn. Yes, we're going to
You
break.
need a lot of therapy. Anyway, and we'll talk about that once we get back on the Wrestling Guys.
Buckeye Country 106.5.
Particularly like, the HWA hotline. And people are getting calls saying, is Willie okay? Because the hotline's not updated on Sunday. And what happened was, there was absolutely no news on Sunday. This was probably, and according to a lot of the wrestling journalists on the internet, this was one of the slowest news weekends ever. So there was absolutely nothing new to report. So I decided just to let Saturdays go through.
Yeah, and common courtesy, decency, professionalism would dictate that you at least go on and say, hey, no news. But that's okay. You do what you run the hotline the way you see fit.
I was really upset.
Did you get that from experience, Cam?
Absolutely.
We'll see. Yeah.
Looks good on the resume, doesn't it?
I used to do like one a week. What are you talking about?
I paced myself.
That's what
But they were in depth, weren't they?
Yes.
In depth.
They were such stellar hotlines that you could just let it run
After
forever.
2 years of every day, the best 4.5 minutes I could give of my life.
Plus, considering when you were doing the hotline, you would basically have 2 callers a day. So those 2 callers might have somebody else call, and that would be the next day.
And then tell a friend.
And then tell a friend.
Right. Word of mouth is very powerful. Yeah.
It was a grassroots movement. Anyway, we're going to go to our official eBay tote board.
It's official now?
Yeah, it is an official.
eBay tote
It is
board.
official. Well, it could be unofficial. What we're doing is the Road Dogg, Jesse James, is actually auctioning himself off for 2 hours. You can spend 2 hours with the Road Dogg on eBay. We've been monitoring this all night. Joe, give us the official total.
The official total now is $4,450.
Oh,
It's maintained.
It's maintained.
Question, good question here.
Yeah.
What if you called him and said, hey, Road Dogg, you're cool and all, but, I was a real big Brad Armstrong fan. Could you, send him instead? What kind of response do you think that would get?
Hey, could you say, Billy or something like that?
Hey, that was Bullet Bob doing. Can he come out with you? I'm sure his ticket's free. Come on.
I wonder how much you can get for, the Gobbledygook or any of the guys in the
I don't know.
Make light of that, but
it's going to be very interesting though to see if this catches on.
It will. I guarantee
You think it will? I mean, if somebody sees that,
I guarantee the next person to do it, the Iron Sheik. The Iron Sheik
probably will.
And won the Battle Royal.
You can try.
That's his big thing right now. I bet you.
My club. I'm the king of the Battle Royal, the gimmick Battle Royal.
I want to know if his price. I bet you his price went up too, and that's scary.
I bet it doubled.
Yeah, it's $10 now.
So sad. Anyway,
Britney Spears is on there. I'll work for free the rest of my life just to earn that money for 2 hours per day.
2 hours with Britney?
Wow.
Wow. That's great.
What are we going to do with that?
Willie's got this foam on his mouth now. He's all distracted.
I'm not distracted. I'm just okay.
Thinking of that Pepsi commercial, huh?
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was. I keep thinking about, all right, I could be your dad. Great. That's who I want to be with. Anyway, let's go back to the phone lines. We have celebrity phone line. Actually, celebrity phone line.
Yes, we do.
We have Hoppy is on. Hoppy, what's going on?
Hey, Cam, Willie.
Hey, what's up, Hoppy?
Joe, what's up?
How you doing?
Hey, I wouldn't pay Road Dogg anything to come to my house if I know what the Armstrongs did to that poor guy last weekend at that show. Did you hear about that?
Yes.
I wouldn't want the Armstrongs coming to my house for anything. As far as Iron Sheik is, you'd have to have a wheelchair to get him from the van or to the car to your house.
That's true.
And if you have a bathroom upstairs, you'd have that elevator just installed to get him to the cistern.
I think you're looking at paying $4,000 for an attorney to get a restraining order against them.
He comes to your house on camel.
That's the only reason why he won the Battle Royal in the first place. They couldn't get over the top
I
rope.
know that was so sad.
I got a little information.
Yeah, what's going on?
The VCW show. You guys already mentioned about Suicide Solution and the Pose. They're going against You Name That hardcore match. There's also another hardcore match on there. It's got Billy Niles putting the heavyweight title against Final Solution.
Okay.
They have Super Hente coming from Pittsburgh. He's going to be taking on, I believe, Frederick from Hollywood.
Okay.
You got Rough Rider 2000 Mike West taking on Shirley Doe.
Okay.
I believe that.
That's another Pittsburgh person, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's coming down, and I believe I think you have someone another chair match. It's a flying Hawaiian.
Cufa. Yeah.
Cufa. Yeah. I think he's taking on somebody they're bringing down from Pittsburgh too. So far it's gonna be a great show. You're gonna have the Clown Pound there and everybody else. Show's at 7:00. Doors open at 6. I don't know the prices of the tickets right offhand, but
I think it's like $8. I want to say $8, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna get on the website and put $5,000, try to bring Road Dogg in or something, see if he'll show up.
Yeah.
All the fans, pull your money and let's bring Road Dogg.
Yeah.
Forget that we could book him for 1/3 the cost.
Don't give him no money up front.
Exactly.
No, exactly.
Keep all the fans out of the ring.
And now, Hoppy, what's going on with you? Now, there's a lot of talk about you. Now, if you don't want to go into it, just say, don't go into it.
Oh, yeah, I can.
Okay.
A lot of people know that when I left UCW, my old gimmick, the Hop Sing thing, and I'm doing a new gimmick in there in VCW for a while. And then the last show, it's been going on for the past couple shows, my back injuries, my lower back, my tailbone. I did a corkscrew off the top turnbuckle onto the concrete, and when they caught me, but the tailbone went into the concrete, which swelled up my back pretty bad.
Right.
It's just the problems have been going on for so long, and I'm just taking some time off, letting it heal.
Okay.
I just don't want. I have a child now, 4-month-old child. I don't want to do anything that would hurt hurt me in the long run.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm taking it cool just for a while, and then as soon as it heals up and it feels a lot better, and I'm going to get back in there. I'm surely not done, I'll tell you that.
Good. That's because the last time I had talked to you, you're pretty much saying, I think I'm hanging it up.
I think everybody says that.
Yeah.
How many times has Ric Flair said that?
How many times? Terry Funk, I think, is the one you really have to look at.
Flair was talking about that roll on the side of the tights. That's what he was hanging up. Well,
I say it. I say that I'm done. Then when I go to an independent show, I'm like, Jesus, I just want to run in there right now and go in the back.
Oh, sure.
So, but I'm not done.
Well, but it's just, once again, it just goes, prove that, that injuries do and can happen.
Yeah.
So
I'm too small to be throwing people around, so the higher I get, the better. As long as the crowd enjoys it, that's fun, but I'm not going to paralyze myself for it. But,
I understand.
So, but once I get back in there, I'm back to the high spots again, see if I can't, okay, I can't stop doing that, even though I tell myself I'm going to try. I can't.
It's very addicting.
And you're definitely doing the smart thing by letting your body heal.
Yeah, I'm going to be in the show in Pickwood. The Clown Pound's going to be there. Definitely. I guess Filthy's coming out of retirement. I guess he may be there. As far as I know, I don't know if he's booked on the card yet or not, but it's going to have a lot of fun. We always have great shows. You guys have been up here 75 North to Pickwood, and the Armory is about, eighth of a mile down on your left.
Yeah, eighth of a mile left. It's very easy to get to. I highly encourage everyone to go check out VCW if you haven't checked it out.
Always a line at the door.
Oh, yeah.
Always a line at the door.
About an hour
the door opens.
PTC rules. I don't know if I can say the P word on the radio station or not, but I'll be good. But you guys take care, and thanks for having me on, guys. And
sure, thanks, Hoppy.
Hey, thanks, Hoppy.
Hey, Cam, and I don't care what they say. The GD.
Thanks for the inspiration, Hoppy.
All right, bud. You guys take care.
All right, you take care.
You want to know how talented Hoppy is?
Okay.
That he could actually...
Well, I already know, but go ahead and tell me.
That he could actually train me for a match. That's how talented that guy is.
I wouldn't... Hoppy, don't go rewriting your resume or anything. I'll put a show on there.
Seriously, though, he is definitely one of the best talents in the area. If you have not had the pleasure of seeing him work, when he gets back into the ring, he will put on a show every single time. Every single time.
One of the nicest guys in the business, too. Locally.
Absolutely.
Okay, and it was good to. I'm glad to hear, because like I said, the last time I talked to him, I mean, he was real down and thinking that he couldn't do it.
I talked to him when we had Tommy New Jack.
Yeah,
those guys at that show, and he was the same mentality.
You could just see, the life in his eyes was just gone, and to know that he's going to be okay, that's bonus, very big bonus. So VCW. Let's go back to L2K. We got you back on line 4. You're on with the wrestling guys once again.
Hey.
What was the question? It was when Triple H...
Hunter is
Triple H.
Is Triple H.
Is Triple H.
I said, is Triple H turning into a face? And if he does, will he come back up with China?
I think it's possible that, that was the talk for a long time, that what they wanted to do is they wanted to actually turn Triple H and a face while they're turning Austin heel. I don't think that... I would think you would turn back Austin, though, before you would turn Triple H. It just makes much more sense. Triple H is the guy that tried to hit him with the car, tried to kill him.
It's really hard at this point, even for people who follow the business very, very closely. It's really hard to figure out how you would do either one at this point.
Oh, yeah.
It's really... I think about it when I'm watching Raw. How could they possibly do that? I don't know. I usually try to come up with an idea of something to do, but I can't come up with anything that would make sense and be entertaining.
Well, that's why you're not a booker.
Exactly. That's why I'm not a booker.
Yeah.
Sean's not a booker.
My two other questions is, one for WCW.
Yeah.
And for a new name, we can call it No More Old People.
No more old people. I'm going to write that down.
No one over age of 30. That probably boosts off a lot of people.
So you call it like WCW Logan's Run.
Yeah.
Joe's about the only person in the entire listing area
WCW Soylent Green
that got that joke.
You could possibly bring all the old guys back.
Yes, we did.
Bring all the old guys back. Say they have Alzheimer's and they forgot that they were canceled.
That's a good idea.
Patrick Duffy should just walk out
You know?
See, that's what I said. I said that, Goldberg wakes up in the shower and it's all been a dream. That's what I thought they should do.
That you guys are better than the original wrestling guys.
Oh, well, thanks.
I vote for you guys now.
Wow. I don't know how Sean's going to feel about that.
We're getting Shawn out the door anytime soon, but
boy, he's going to give
And
our
I just have to say, the Spanish fly is my idol. I shall be drunk as him.
Well, thanks for calling, L2K.
thanks, L2K.
Boy, Sean's going to give our knees to talking to, isn't he?
I hope. I sure hope that they don't kick Shawn out because Sean's the one. He's got the key. I don't even got that.
Yeah, without him, we don't even get into
the building.
Yeah. We're on the air only because there's a broken window tonight.
That's right. That's right. Don't tell them about that. They'll fix that thing before next week. All right, let's go back to the phones. We have the Undertaker guy. You're on with the wrestling guys.
Woo! It's true. It's true.
Have you seen Kurt Angle's Fanatic special on pay-per-view?
Oh, my God.
I haven't seen all of it.
Believe it or not,
It is great stuff. Because, they usually break kayfabe and they go behind the scenes on that.
Yeah.
And he stays in character. They're doing that whole shoot on the SmackDown game.
I saw a lot of that.
And he's on his cell phone yelling at his agent about the script, and he's telling the other guys, I know you guys can't be like me. You
Well, they
want to
should
be
do
like me.
a statue of him before every match.
Actually, I saw one part where he goes, there's, you know what, we would get done a lot faster if some of these guys would just work. Because look, there's a whole bunch of guys just like standing around doing nothing.
He goes, I realize not everyone can live by my three eyes.
Well, I try.
And he goes,
Undertaker guy and myself, we
perfectly.
do. I'm sorry, real fast. What I actually liked was the whole point about the when he got the award at WrestleMania, the plaque from the sergeant. Yeah, do you have anything to
Well, you know what they should have done? They should have had it on every channel CBS, NBC. Yeah, but my comment is about a certain caller.
Okay.
Spanish Fly, come up with some new material. You stink. You don't know how to drink. You don't know how kids. I get so sick and tired here. And you drink Mexican luchador. Big deal.
I think he just cut a promo.
Well, here's what I
caller. Can you do that?
Wait, but here's what I would say, like to the Undertaker guy. Let's think about it. Now, last week, you bashed. 2 weeks ago, I wasn't here last week. Last week. Or 2 weeks ago, you bashed.
So what exactly?
No, Love Man. No, Love Man. So.
Oh, I ran Love Man off.
Okay, so wait a minute. That means that all you do is come on and bash other people that have already called.
Well, hey, my fault. He's a coward to Love Man.
You're the Phil Mushnick of the wrestling guys.
Wow.
On that show will be
Your friend.
interesting.
Your friend said that. Your friend.
I think I just went heel.
Yeah. He just
Well, really, you need to go heel.
I know.
Because you were great when you were heel.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. But
you're not now. That's what he said.
They need to go to school more often because they can't talk.
I'm horrible as a face.
You are. You should be heel.
Well, you know what? I stopped doing it. Actually, if people go up to VCW, they may see like the heel Willie F. There's something about the air up in Piqua.
It happened to me. The only time I've been in Piqua at a VCW show, it happened to me.
Yeah, see?
If it can happen to me, it can happen to anyone.
It happens. Undertaker guy, you got anything else?
That's it. But hey, like I said, Spanish cockroach, you lose.
All right. There you go.
I think we should change your name to the one Willie F.
Wow.
Thanks. I'm glad you think so much of my talent that you want to give me that stigma.
His ass for saying that.
Anyway, we are going to a break. When we come back, more of your phone calls at 457 and 106.5. You are listening to The Wrestling Guys
on Buckeye Country 106.5. Wow, how appropriate. You're back with The Wrestling Guys here on Buckeye Country 106.5. Taking some calls here in just a moment. Want to know your thoughts on the new name for WCW, what it should be called, because judging by the list they have, they need some serious help. And temporarily joining us, Willie F. stepped out for just a moment and got kind of a security issue right here because the last time these two faced off was at Hockeytown in Fairborn. She kicked the Slop's rear end out of Unified Championship Wrestling. It is Tracy.
Just to recap the story, Tracy, at the time when I was the Slop, was feuding with you, Cam Collins, Tracy, your wife, had the match, picked Tracy pinned me, it was either you lead the Federation or I, but Tracy...
and you got to pick the opponent out of the crowd.
I picked Tracy.
And he picked my wife, and she beat him.
She
Cleanly, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, never mind the steel chair.
But it floated into the ring, so I think it was legal at that point.
I was mad. We all went out. We all had, Diet Dr. Peppers.
Biggest pop I've ever heard out of 40 people in my life.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Hey, they got pop.
They had pop.
They did.
And it only cost them like $1 at the concession stand. All right, let's go ahead, take to the phones. Who do we got?
We got Woodchuck. How you doing, Woodchuck?
Woodchuck.
I'm doing okay, just enjoying 40.
What? I was going to ask what brand, but I don't think I'm allowed to. Sorry.
What's your question?
Well, I got two quick things. Well, you know how, King was basically in charge of Memphis Championship Wrestling, right?
Right.
Well, I say ECW should become like a new Music City Wrestling.
So you think ECW should be reborn as Music City Wrestling?
No, they just take the place.
Okay, I see.
Hell, WWF got a lot of ECW cut anyway, so
Right.
might as well.
Yeah, the WWF pulled out of Memphis because of Jerry Lawler,
So
basically.
hell, parties in the WWF now, right? So might as well.
Absolutely. What's your other question, Woodchuck?
Well, I know what I don't know what they should name WCW now.
Right.
They should name it after me.
They should name it Woodchuck Championship Wrestling?
Yeah, great.
Woodchuck Wrestling.
Why not? Now, would you have any involvement in the organization? Would you sue over copyright infringement? Because after all, it is your name.
Well, as long as they can make me like a manager of Lita, I'll kill.
Wow, that's pretty easy terms. I'll work as long as I manage Lita. We're in the presence of a woman, Woodchuck. That's a pretty sexist remark, don't you think?
No comment.
Woodchuck, thanks for the call,
Thanks for calling, Woodchuck. Now, what would you think of that? Now, for those who don't know, my wife is a wrestling fan as well. We watch Raw and Nitro together. What do you think of the WCW situation?
Now, that just has romance written all over it.
Yeah, my wife, my wife, and Raw. And that's all. I'm going to say.
And whatever order you want.
But I think my wife pretty much started watching wrestling when we got married. We've been together for about 7 years now, so she's been a fan for about 7 years, which is longer than a lot of fans today. So let's get your input on the whole situation with WCW, WWF merging.
Gosh, you put me on the spot.
Put you right on the spot.
I wasn't ready for that.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, what did you think of WCW when it went off the air?
I think it's sad.
You think the whole situation is sad?
Yeah.
Now we've got one owner, basically, of all of wrestling.
Yeah. And I don't know. I don't like it. I like the competition.
You like the
I liked several years ago when it was more head-to-head and
yeah, I think
the rating wars and
the phrase that was commonly screamed at our house was, "Will you pick a channel? Turn it back." There was something good on. It was a fight for the remote, and it was, she would want it to watch what, the part of wrestling she wanted to watch. So good battles being had, and I agree, that part I'll miss. But
I believe your daughter always enjoyed watching Kane, if I remember correctly, so obviously WWF would win out more.
Yes, my 2-year-old daughter, take note, PTC, my 2-year-old daughter is a huge Rock fan now. Now it's the Rocks.
Oh, so your daughter's not into shooting electricity from the fingertips?
She still likes Kane, but the Rock, she'll tell you, is her favorite. She's 4 now.
you said she was 2.
When she was 2, she liked Kane. That's what I was getting ready to say. When my daughter was 2, she was watching wrestling.
Nice parody in there, Kaya.
Yeah.
Never mind, I didn't complete a thought. Willie, where the hell are you?
I'll save it.
That couch is looking pretty good, isn't it?
And thanks to my wife Tracy for joining us in Willie's absence.
Hey.
Willie?
Yeah. Every time the Undertaker guy calls, I need nicotine.
And look over right back in time.
Well, wait a minute. But first, during the break time though, I actually went on the internet and checked a couple things, and actually, I have to say that the names that I listed, that it's true.
It's true.
Yes. In fact, WCW.com is having a poll that right now you can go on WCW.com and vote for these names. Let's go down the names once again.
Their names or our names?
Get the censor button ready.
WCW Saturday Night Nitro. That's one of them. WCW Hot Box. WCW Uprising. WCW Late Night Appetite. WCW Primal Urge. And WCW hard on Saturday night.
Wow. Why don't they just call it wrestling for guys who like wrestling? I mean, really, they're going to be
WCW, go get a pop.
Yeah.
How about that? It's going to be on TNN.
WCW, and now it's a good time to go to bed early.
That's right.
WCW, because we needed to fill space between our new Star Trek shows.
Yes.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be that bad.
No, I don't either.
It's a bad omen when you think about it. You take on a Saturday night, 11 o'clock time slot. I don't think that's a good sign. I expect a lot of 1.0 ratings.
That's what TNN was essentially giving to them. That's all the only slot that they would that they would give up is that. I hope it does well. The one thing I do appreciate about the WWF is that we kept hearing that they were going to put it on in May. May was going to be the official thing, and now they've pushed it back because they actually do want to make the first show something special.
And they should.
Most definitely.
As I've said, I'm very excited about the whole merge. Unlike a lot of wrestling fans, I think it could be a good thing, especially considering, number one, where WCW was, number two, where they could be,
right,
which is non-existent. So given the alternatives, it's a pretty good spot to be in.
Most definitely.
WCW, Saturday night pre-taped.
That's a good one too. Tell you what, let's get back to the phone calls. Where are we going to? Let's go to Harry on line 2. You're on with the wrestling guys.
Hey guys.
Hey, what's up?
I got a name for the WCW Saturday night show. You stick it on Nick at Night or the other channel down there at the end.
Yes.
And call it Hogan's Heroes.
Oh, wow. All right.
I have a question.
Yes.
Where did you get your ratings? Because I can't find those anywhere on the internet.
The ratings were actually up. If you go to WrestlingObserver.com, they have them up there.
Anywhere.
They're on there. I was just on there. Just on there, they had them all on, and also the Torches website.
They're not on One Wrestling, though.
No, they're not. That's because Dave Shearer's on vacation right now.
So was there a delay because of the Nielsen, or what?
No. Dave's just on vacation, right? He's generally the one that comes out with the ratings first. He took a week off.
So what were the ratings hourly?
Hourly, I don't have that breakdown yet. I don't think no one has that breakdown yet. But all I had was overall was a 5.4. The highest segment was the Linda McMahon, Vince McMahon, where she came back on and said, I want a divorce. That got a 6.2, and the main event got a 6.0.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome.
Bye.
You know what? I just got to say, Sanka doesn't taste all that bad.
So that's what happened to Joe Cola.
That's it. I was wondering why I couldn't find that in the stories anymore. Now I know. Let's go to line 3, Suicide X. You're on the wrestling guys.
What the?
Hey, how are you?
How are you doing?
Indeed.
Okay. What you got?
Well, I was wondering, who will be Austin's opponent up at Backlash?
Well, actually, Austin's supposed to team up with Triple H to go up against The Undertaker and Kane. That's what we're hearing right now. Everything could change, though.
So when Undertaker and Kane goes against Triple H, Undertaker go put the titles on the line or something, or?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to work that. It doesn't seem to be that much of a main event.
Right now, those two teams don't even look at each other.
Yeah,
they
right.
They haven't crossed paths yet, so they still have to develop that aspect.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're already doing the whole thing with the. Well, I'm not going to give anything away by saying this, but they're already doing a thing with the Hardys right now. So why? I just don't understand.
On the surface, if you not knowing the information Willie just gave,
yes,
you would look at it and think that Kane and Undertaker will be somehow involved with Big Show at the next pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's what you would think.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they should put Kurt Angle against Austin to make Kurt Angle a face.
No, I disagree so much with that. Wow, Joe.
Well, he was going to ask for it anyway, right?
No, that's true.
He loves that.
True, that's true.
So
saying the words "make Kurt Angle a face" is equivalent to just blow me up.
No, you can't do that. Kurt Angle is just the epitome of what a heel should be. Tell you what, we're going to take another break, which is probably a good idea at this point. See, I
need to cool down.
See, I just wanted to wait for that music. It's a kid. We'll take more of your phone calls, 457-106.5. You're listening to The Wrestling Guys
on Buckeye Country 106.5.
Oh, yeah!
Hallelujah.
Welcome back to the Wrestling Guys. Willie F. with you. Shawn is off. What did we say anyway? Oh, he was buying lifts. That's why.
It's tough to be a rock.
Oh, yeah.
Shut your mouth. No.
I have to admit, it is kind of a catchy, I don't want to say catchy, but a funny song.
Okay. In your eyes, it is.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to go home and download it or anything.
All right, yeah. That's right, because you can just tape it here. Then you're listening to the Wrestling Guys radio show. Willie F. along with Cam the Man Collins. Joe on the other side taking your phone calls. We are taking your phone calls at 457-106.5. 106. I do that too. 457-1065. See what happens? I take a week.
106.5.
I take a week off. Yeah, but people, our listeners would be looking for a point on their phone.
But, yeah,
that's 8 digits.
Now, don't try and call the Wrestling Guys hotline right now because the mailbox is full with Willie's hate mail.
Yeah,
that little dash
I get a lot of
between
that
457 and 1065. That isn't it. You don't count that either.
That's right. See, and we're on here talking about, really not a lot of people wanted to talk about the whole Lita thing, which I'm surprising. Everyone wants to talk about the
because the only one people who care is PTC.
Yeah, that's true. Also,
quite frankly, she had it coming to her. Okay, let's just call a spade a spade. She got in the ring like a man, and she took the beating like a man, and that's the way it should be.
Actually,
I don't want to. I can't see your wife from where she sits.
Well, it's amazing that you brought that up because I actually took a picture of my ex and I put it up on the screen, so there was actually her taking the beating when I was doing it. But
now, you know what I loved about that though? Remember way back in what a lot of people call the glory days, when one wrestler gave his body to protect another wrestler. They do the whole laying on top. What normally happened? Another face would run in, or the guys would look at it, shake their head, and leave. What did Austin do? He laughed and then beat the snot out of him.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, so many years ago, that's what really should have happened.
Yeah, that's true.
People laying prone, just beat them. But, I just thought that was kind of funny because I expected something else to happen.
It was actually a really good way to turn Austin heel. I hope it works.
They're cramming it down the fans' throat because, like you said, they don't want anybody cheering for the guy.
No.
That's why, at WrestleMania, he could have left after the match was done, but people were cheering, so he, sucker punches The Rock with the belt.
You're right, exactly.
He's got to get some boos and get some of that heel heat going before he can leave.
Yeah.
Going back to the whole China thing that we talked about earlier with the whole female thing, when China won the belt from Jeff Jarrett and them two were fighting in the ring, when they had their whole feud, you didn't hear nothing about, women getting beat on.
I think it was a little bit different, though, because you actually had, during that, though, you had China getting the upper hand on Jericho a couple times. And what is the difference?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, with Jarrett. I'm sorry.
Him too.
But with this one,
So what, you only cry foul if you're losing?
Well,
I think with this one, I just think it was such a brutal attack.
And at the time, there was some debate as to whether or not China was a man. I'm just saying there were things on the internet.
Well, yeah, true.
China used to be Chino.
And we joke about it, but that's something that really affected her at that time.
Yeah.
And we joke about it, but she's as big as a man, so she can defend herself, and I think that's the whole point. She's capable of defending herself, whereas Lita was not.
Right.
And if you've read
Lita's not even capable of pulling up her pants all the way. Thank God for that.
If you've read China's book, or like Cam just looked at the pictures, you know what Cam is saying is true.
Understand. Tell you what, let's go back to the phone lines. We're taking your phone calls at 457-1065. Let's go to line 1. We have Randy in Miamisburg. You're on the Wrestling Guys.
Hey, you guys doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. Got a question about the whereabouts of Paul Bearer.
Paul Bearer is still working backstage with WWF. I don't think he's one of the road agents. I think he actually works in the offices right now. I just don't think they have any need for managers right now.
Right.
Which is sad. It's sad because you think...
I wonder why you say that.
Well, I don't say it because of that.
I'm just kidding. I'm only kidding.
Because I need the work.
Well, between you and that Brock Guffman guy, Jesus.
Well, Brock Guffin's gonna, he's...
Brock Guffman is a talent to be seen.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah,
talent to be seen or a talent to be seen?
I could learn a lot actually by watching Brock Guffman tapes.
Well, I don't know if this applies to the new Monday Nitro, but I think if the Truth in Advertising people
Well, it's Saturday, though. Remember, it's going to be on Saturday.
Well, they would definitely call it Saturday Night NyQuil.
That's very possible, though, too.
Definitely.
Because, I didn't want to operate any heavy machinery after I watched the Lex Luger match.
I think you'd have to be that way if you wanted to watch WCW later.
Very possible. Randy, what else you got?
That's about it, guys.
All right, thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
Let's go to line...
Wait.
Oh, yes.
WCW, the return of the Hummer.
Oh.
But wait,
man.
Whoever was, that was Hogan driving the Hummer, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that's finally what came out, yeah.
What line we going to?
WCW.
Not the one you want to go to. I know the line that was going to follow that one.
We could do this all night.
Move along, fans. Nothing to see here.
Yes. Kid Chuck. Line 8.
Okay, before I get into anything, I'd just like to say of all of the wrestling guy shows I've listened to, I think the most classic line was, when people are laying pro, just beat them. Okay.
When people are what? What was it?
That's why I said when they're laying prone, just beat them.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It doesn't not make sense, Kid Chuck. I mean,
so Dan has the line of the series.
Make sure if anyone starts up a website, make sure that you put that on there. Classic wrestling guy lines.
And just to update the world, the XFL playoffs are this weekend at San Francisco at Orlando and Chicago at LA.
Okay, so there are 4 teams left. And there's 4 out of 8. Boy, those other 4 must feel really bad right now.
This has potential to be Willie's $100 question.
Yeah. No, I'm not doing that anymore.
What are the nicknames of those 4 teams?
I have no idea.
See,
what is it? San Francisco? San Francisco's San Francisco. Oh, what is San Francisco?
That's the Rice-A-Roni.
No, San Francisco is
treats.
Treats. Aren't the Bengals in there somewhere?
Okay, Orlando's the Rage.
Right, Orlando Rage. Chicago, Las Vegas.
Chicago
Outlaws.
is
Chicago.
Chicago's the Enforcers.
Enforcers. Thank you. And who else was it?
L.A. and
L.A. or
somebody else.
L.A. Hitman, wasn't it?
No, it's New York Hitmen.
Yeah.
Las Vegas Hitman.
Las Vegas Hitmen.
Las Vegas Outlaws.
Las Vegas Outlaws.
This is not ESPN radio, so we just want to reiterate that. I don't think
that's
ESPN
true because
radio
ESPN wouldn't even cover it.
I'm not even sure Dan Patrick could answer this.
Even the wrestling guys' ratings are dropping just talking about XFL.
Yeah, you're right. We need to get on something else.
So your question.
Yeah, what's your question?
Here's a WCW name for you.
Okay.
At least we don't have Billy Gunn yet.
Hey.
Yet.
The key phrase is yet because I heard he's going down there. That's the key phrase.
TNN has to keep Billy Gunn because the Starsky and Hutch and the Dukes of Hazzard are pop. Billy Gunn's pop.
That's right. Billy Gunn is pop. He's the one pop.
Somebody please explain Billy Gunn to me. That's all I want. That's all I want. One simple explanation.
See, that's the gimmick that Vince should have went with. He shouldn't be the one. It should just be Billy Gunn. He's got pop.
He's got pop. The pop Billy Gunn.
I hate to be the one to admit it, but back when he was B.A. Billy Gunn, he was kind of cool to watch.
He shows some attitude, but
when he changes his name,
well, that's the way it used to be. I mean, when the New Age Outlaws were around, I mean, actually, it was you watched because Road Dogg was the one that could talk, and Billy Gunn was the one that could wrestle. And now it's like,
here's what you do with Billy Gunn.
I would rather see a rockabilly match.
You give him a midget tag team partner and call him the 1.5.
That's a WCW gimmick, you see?
That is a WCW gimmick. What else you got?
That's all I got.
All right, thanks for calling. Let's go. Let's keep the fun fest of love moving.
Or we can make him a computer genius and call him Billy Gunn 2.0.
There you go. B2K.
Joe, we're taking your mic away this week. We're going with Brian on line 5. You're on the Wrestling Guys.
Hey, I got one.
All right.
You put him up with Doink the Clown, you call him the one with fun.
The one with fun. I like that. All right.
There you go.
Yeah, I was wondering, is China going to have another Playboy coming out?
Actually, yes, she is. I don't have the date on it yet, but she is in talks of doing another Playboy. She came out recently and said that, yes, they are in discussions of that. There are going to be some other people. I mean, I guess the WWF wants to expose all of the females in there. Anyone that wants to basically expose themselves for Playboy because they got such a good... no, Joe.
You could pretty much fill a Playboy calendar with the
Joe,
WWF
you wouldn't
women.
even be a centerfold in Fields and Streams. They have...
Yeah. I was wondering, I heard last week someone talk about the Cruiserweight title, or the Light Heavyweight, I mean.
Yeah, with Crash Holly that just magically got it out of nowhere.
I mean...
When did he win that?
I mean, is he going to wear it on as like a belt buckle or something, or...
Who, Crash Holly?
Yeah, you going to put it around his pants, wear like a belt and stuff?
I don't know.
Or, because I was wondering, who are they going to boost up with them?
I don't think anyone wears the belts around their waist hardly anymore.
Well,
Triple H did.
I saw him, when he came into the ring Monday night, he was wearing
Did he? Normally they just like hoist it over their shoulder.
I love what the Dudleys doing.
Drag
Drape it around their neck.
And my other question is, do you think Crash Holly might do like a Kentucky-related cousin thing with Molly Holly soon? Or?
No, I don't think so. I think Crash Holly's going to get buried a little bit now that they brought Spike Dudley on board. Because I think Spike Dudley is originally what they wanted Crash Holly to be. And now that they have Spike, I mean, I don't think Crash is going to have a whole heck of a lot to do.
Crash was too smart to take some of those bumps.
I would like to see some matches between those two.
That's probably be pretty good. I'm sure it is. You know, but Spike is just, you know.
It is completely. If you've not seen some of the old ECW stuff, it is completely insane what Spike will let someone do to him.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I saw that. And also got a good name for WCW. The One, just the One.
Just the one.
The other one.
You sure you don't want it to be 1.0, which is exactly what the rating is going to be?
1.5.2.
Okay, all right. All right, I like that.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks for calling.
I love China.
All right.
Bye.
I'm sure that'll get the relation, you know.
WCW.
That's gonna, you know,
what's for dinner.
Him saying that's going to... No, him saying that's going to get our troops back.
There we go.
That's what he was talking about, wasn't it?
Oh. That's wrong.
What? Who? They're sending them back?
That one's for you,
that's
Willie.
what's going to happen, yeah.
You know, speaking of Spike Dudley real fast, if you've seen Beyond the Mat, Spike has a segment in there where he's talking about how much he loves wrestling and some of the stuff that he's given up for it.
And if you have not seen Beyond the Mat, then why are you listening to this show? If you're a fan, you have had to have seen that.
If you have seen Beyond the Mat, I have another one to tell you about. There's another wrestling movie, and I'm so glad you brought that up. There's another wrestling movie coming out. In fact, it's Max Payne, who used to be with WCW and the WWF, and now he's around touring with his band. He's totally left the wrestling industry. But back in like 1995, he actually took a video camera and he was following around. And I don't remember who he was with at that point, if it was with WWF or WCW. But like Kevin Nash and things like that, and they're on the road, like a big tour bus. Mm-hmm. And he's filming all this. And also, you get to see how a match is put together, things of that. You know, and they have the trailer on the coming attraction, I guess I should say, the trailer. They have the coming attraction on Max Payne's website at www.maxpayne.com, and that's MAXXPAYNE.com. You can go to that website, look at the trailer. Now, the interesting thing about this is that this is the time when Louis Spicoli was still alive. And they actually have a scene in the coming attraction with Louis Spicoli going, basically just in his underwear in the hotel hallway. And they even say he's on 14 somas right now.
Wow.
And he is going from door to door trying to figure out which one is his and trying to get in. And he just turns the camera and just goes and just lets out like this little laugh. Wrestling guys right here on Buckeye Country 106.5. Shawn Stidham is out again this week. He is having baby watch. You know, some things are more important to do than this show, but not a lot. But I guess that is one. So the doctor has said that it could be any day now. So he's staying at home with his lovely wife, and they're monitoring the situation. Who knows? Maybe we'll have a baby before the end of the show. Of course, and then we can announce it right here on the Wrestling Guys.
It'll be like last week. We had the whole...
Yeah, the Road Dog. The Road Dog.
Watch.
Yeah, so...
Tonight it's baby watch. You know, it'll be nice for Shawn, though.
What's that?
Now that his daughter has outgrown him, it'll be nice to have somebody else his size in the house.
Oh, God. And if you didn't know, that was that's Cam the Man Collins, so send your letters care of him to this radio station. Also, manning the boards, and also on the other side of the studio, and also manning the phone lines. And I can actually say manning, and it won't be sexist this week. It is Joe. Joe.
Multitasker.
That's right. Joe, the multitasker who doesn't know how to turn up his mic at the right time. Anyway, got a lot of stuff, hopefully, that's going to happen on tonight's show. I know we have a couple guests lined up. Big Daddy Raj Cox is going to join us around 7:30. He's going to talk about... Actually, he's going to make an announcement, so I'm not going to spoil it. Because I know that he doesn't like that when you do that. He'd rather take it.
Kind of takes offense to that.
He does. So I'm going to let him...
Can't do it, I'll do it.
No,
Just kidding.
don't.
Just kidding.
I wouldn't do it either. And also, we're going to have Ray Steele. And, of course, if you've called the Wrestling Guys hotline at 229-8189, and then you know. Actually, that's OCW's line. 285-0991. Don't ask me why I had OCW on my brain.
But give them a call. 229-8189.
It's that Dave Diamond clause. Yeah, give them a call, too. 285-0991, the Wrestling Guys hotline, and Ray Steele had a couple interesting days with the WWF, so we're going to be talking to him about 8:30. Also, we're trying to track down, just playing phone tag right now with Max Payne, who was formerly with WCW and WWF. He has a new film that is coming out that entitled The Thing That Shouldn't Be. And if you go to his website, which is maxpayne.com, that's MAXXPAYNE, you can see the coming attraction. Now, what this film is in 1995, he basically took a video camera on the road with him when he was with the WWF and filmed a lot of things that even, really, when you look at the trailer, this is going to be probably a little bit more in-depth than even Beyond the Mat. We're talking, there's some serious things that are in this film. One scene has Louis Spicolli, who, if you don't know, died of a drug overdose, and has Louis Spicolli basically in his underwear in a hotel hallway, going from door to door, trying to figure out which one is his.
How many times has that happened to us, huh?
Yeah, so many times. Actually, it looks like it's going to be a little bit more in-depth. There is talk, too, that pretty soon, probably Vince McMahon's going to try to get a hold of that film. So we definitely want to get Max Payne on. We will have, if we don't have him on this week, we will have him on very, very shortly to talk about this, because it looks like it's going to be a very interesting film.
In 1995, keep in mind, was a very interesting year, because that was just before the big explosion.
Absolutely.
Of the wrestling's popularity.
Right. I mean,
before the Nitro and the Raw Wars.
Yep.
Monday Night Wars and all that. So it would be very.
And it was still, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall were still with the WWF. Bam Bam Bigelow, Ted DiBiase was still with them. Looks like it's going to be a very interesting film, so we hope to have him on. Also, to let you know what's coming up in the next coming weeks, I have contacted the guy from WrestleCrap. If you remember a couple weeks ago, I talked about this site. It's a great site with bad gimmicks, and he's going to come on to talk about bad gimmicks. But right now, I'll tell you what, let's get right into the news. And I'm not going to get into the news that Shawn had on his hotline, so if you want that news and also the SmackDown tapings. No, I don't. No, I go out and I get my own.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Before we get into the
Sure.
news, and you touched on it just a few minutes ago about the Road Dogg eBay. What was the final bid on that?
Actually, it was still going, and as of yesterday, now I didn't go and confirm this, but maybe we can do that during the show. It was up to $14,000.
Ah!
Yeah. As of yesterday, it was up to $14,000.
I could buy Road Dogg's car for $14,000.
And actually, Road Dogg,
have him drive it to me.
That Road Dogg actually came on. He was on some show and said that yes, he was actually doing that, and he was also in talks with. He was going to get into talks with Jim Ross about cleaning up his act and about coming to WCW.
Well, let's see. $14,000 is a good start to doing that, but I hope to
Most
God,
definitely.
whoever
$14,000 for 2 hours.
$14,000 is going to send Road Dogg to a children's hospital somewhere as a charitable donation.
Let's hope.
Do something. Who would, for the lack of a better term, pee away $14,000 to spend 2 hours with anyone?
I don't know.
I don't even think Ken Griffey Jr. would charge that much money.
Some people just have a lot of money, I guess. Let's get into the news. The big story that I have, I guess, is Jim Ross is in Atlanta right now. And they are hiring people for WCW. I guess they're going to hire like 30 people today and 30 people tomorrow is what I heard.
That's where Shawn is.
Yeah, that's right. Shawn is in Atlanta.
He's in Atlanta.
Johnny Ace, who, if you did not know, was one of the main bookers for WCW, actually wrote a lot of the finishes of the matches. He is definitely in WCW. Some of the people that are possibly in, because they just got their releases today from WCW. It's amazing that WCW is really no more right now, with the exception of the WWF entity WCW.
Right.
People that got released today were Vampiro, Mike Modest, and Chris Daniels. They had a 90-day clause, and once that rolled over, then they were able to terminate them. Now, Time Warner AOL does still have a lot of major players that they're paying right now. And if you remember, we talked about how they were going to pay 30 cents on the dollar if they were making more than $1 million. Well, I guess a lot of people didn't bite at that, so now they've upped it to 50 cents on the dollar, which might be a little bit more enticing to them because then they can, basically get out of their contract and then they go on to the WWF or whatever else they wanted to do. Because there's two guys that are under contract that have not been bought out yet, Shane Douglas and Conan, and they were going to do an XPW show out in California. And AOL Time Warner said, you're not going to do it. If you do it, we're going to put legal restraints against you, and you're going to face a lot of hardship in the courts.
You're basically saying if you want to work another show, let us buy your contract out and then go do what you want.
So they're starting to get a little, harder on them. Yeah, Joe.
We have an update on the Road Dog situation.
Yes, please let us know.
Actually, it appears that Road Dogg has restarted the auction.
Really?
Not necessarily restarted, but added on different auctions. So not only did the first one go, but it looks like he just started a second one, which is now going for $820 with the reserve not yet met. And he also started a third personal appearance auction. This one appears to be taken on eBay UK. So it's a UK appearance.
Oh, okay.
This one going for approximately, $77 in U.S. money. And of course, reserve not yet met there either.
They really love the Road Dogg over in England.
Now, what's funny about that is if you've ever been to eBay and tried to buy something, people pretty much run stores out there on eBay.
Yeah, most definitely.
And it'll say, check out my other auctions. Click here. Mm-hmm. Is that what Road Dogg's doing now?
I guess.
Check out Road Dogg's other auctions.
Road Dogg's branching out, so that's all right.
You sellers other auctions. There it is. Oh, wow.
Amazing.
How many auctions does he have going for himself?
Wow, he's even auctioning off a Dale Earnhardt baseball. Clinton and Monica Lewinsky at Beanie Bears. He's auctioning off.
All right.
He's got the personal appearances. He's got a lot. He's got a lot of Clinton and Monica Lewinsky Beanie Babies.
Well, there you go.
An entrepreneur.
Road Dogg's going to town. That's good.
He's a merchant.
You know what? I don't want us to come off like we're making fun of the guy, but you got to admit
it's a ridiculous idea.
It's pretty ridiculous.
It is. It's to sell your time on eBay.
And if I was doing it, I would expect someone to make fun of me.
Absolutely.
So, getting some other news for you. Slayer, the rock group, the hard, heavy metal rock group Slayer, has recorded a song for the WWF called Warzone. It is said to be on the next WWF CD, and you'll probably hear it pretty soon.
They'll probably start pumping it out on the air.
Most definitely, and then you'll have like the little caption for the CD coming soon.
When are they just going to have
really annoying?
When are they just going to have a box set? They've got like 5 albums out.
I'm sure that day is coming very soon that they're going to have a box set of that.
Carson Daly's going to host their own TRL. It's WWF TRL.
Yeah, that's right. Let's see. I got some WWF news for you. There is a rumor out right now that Brother Love will be teaming up with the Dudley Boys at some point. So,
you know what? Just hire Gertner.
I don't think they want Gertner. Well, here's the story that I heard. Okay, and this is the story. I don't have this authenticated or anything, but the story that I heard was that Joel Gertner was told, basically, hey, don't call the WWF. Wait for wait for like Heyman and some other people to get involved in the WWF, and then call, and we'll see what we can do. But I guess Joel got a little antsy and called anyway. Ooh. And so it didn't look good.
Somebody tells you not to call and wait for some inside help, you should probably take the advice.
Well, Gertner's been put down before. I mean, the whole thing where he had to wear that bandage on his face for the longest time, that was basically a punishment.
Wow.
For doing some stuff. Yes?
We have a phone call.
We do?
Yes. Hello?
Hello, how are you?
Shawn, do you have a baby?
No, not yet.
Okay. Just
I
trying
don't know.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
No, I don't know what last week, wife goes to the doctor, they said, it's a good idea if you don't do a show because you may have to come back here tonight.
Right.
That was last week.
We go to the doctor today, same thing. So we don't know what's going on.
Okay, just take a lot of laxatives.
I think I need to or do something.
No, not you.
Not you.
What the hell is this? You're mentioning Carson Daly on the show. My God.
Carson Daly? When did we say Carson Daly?
I think
Joe mentioned Carson
No,
Daly.
Cam did. I did.
Oh, okay.
Talking about all the WWF music and.
Oh, that's right. Right. Okay. Is that okay, Shawn?
I don't know. Carson Daly, it's a pretty big stretch.
Okay. Are you calling in with some news? Do you have some hot news?
Actually, you know what? The whole baby thing is a scam. I'm working a second job. I'm trying to get enough money to make that Road Dogg second auction.
Now, see, I thought you were down in Atlanta applying for a WCW job.
Oh, well, that's the second job.
You're on the road.
That's right.
That's the second job I have.
Yeah. He's going to get a nickel on the dollar.
Well, I'm not a booker, so you know how that goes.
That's right. You want to comment on some other news as I go through it?
Oh, do you have the Premiere Magazine interview with The Rock?
The Rock wants to do movies, and he really likes doing movies, and that's what he thinks he wants to do.
Yeah, you got to think if this whole thing with the Mummy Returns, if that goes off like they think it is, and with the Scorpion King, Rock may not be back in July.
Well, have you noticed that Jim Ross has been basically just praising The Rock lately and saying, well, The Rock has a lot more to do in the WWF, and we think that he'll be able to do both? Have you seen that lately? Yeah, Jim Ross has been coming out and saying, no, The Rock's not going anywhere yet. And the thing is, I mean, even if The Rock, now say The Rock does decide, hey, I'm going to go do movies. I'm tired of doing wrestling. I'm not doing wrestling anymore. Now, he can basically do a breach of contract, right?
Oh, absolutely.
On that, and just go off and do movies, and then who cares, because it's not a conflict of interest, right?
Well, The Rock is basically making, $4 or $5 million a year from the WWF.
Right.
The offers that he's getting to do other movies are $4 to $5 million per movie.
Exactly.
Now, of course, you've got the actor strike, which is probably going to happen, but let's say in a perfect world where that doesn't happen, Rock could conceivably do 2 or 3 movies a year.
Yeah.
And get the exact same money, if not more, than what he's getting from the WWF. And also, remember that The Rock is also going to be a father very, very soon.
Exactly.
Once that comes into his life, he may not want to take on the schedule of being on the road, being gone every Monday night, plus the physical toll that even though he's on a much limited schedule than what some of the other guys are, he may not want to take that toll on his body like he has to right now.
It's very true. I mean, when you think about the Scorpion King, they're going to have stunt doubles for him.
Yep.
He's not going to have to really do anything, except to act.
No blading?
Yeah, no blading.
No blading.
Wow.
And no embarrassing moments like dropping your blade in front of the pay-per-view audience. Yeah. You can always edit that out. You don't have the pressure of live
that's right.
performance.
You can actually do it again if you like.
Yeah, absolutely.
It should be.
I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't come back.
He may not, but now, the actor strike is going to happen.
Yeah.
So he may come back for a while.
So if he doesn't come back, how quickly do you think Vince McMahon buys out Goldberg's contract and brings him in as the top face?
I don't know if Goldberg wants to go, though.
I don't think Goldberg...
I think Goldberg wants to sit at home.
Some money. I think if you show him some money, I think he goes.
I don't think so.
I think Goldberg is making, what, $2-3 million a year?
Yeah. Right.
For the next 2 or 3 years. I think he's happy with that.
Sure.
Goldberg's another guy, I'm putting the hotline today. There's a rumor going around that he's being considered for a role in the Incredible Hulk movie.
That's right. That is
right. Not as the Hulk, but as one of his villains. So, and that does not conflict with his wrestling duty. So, like you mentioned earlier with AOL Time Warner telling Shane Douglas and Conan they couldn't go work for XPW, they can't say anything to Goldberg about going to do a movie.
Right, and you never know. Universal Soldier 10 may be right around the corner.
Coming to a video store near you.
Very shortly.
Absolutely.
A couple other things I got. The XFL lost $76 million in 3.5 months.
And that's to date.
That's to date.
And you know what that is? It's just another example of Vince McMahon trying to outdo WCW.
Yeah.
They lost $60 million over a year, so he had to go and lose more.
Actually,
why does everything have to be a competition?
The XFL is a bigger flop than WCW.
Yeah.
Already.
In more ways than one.
And actually, after this weekend with the $1 million game, that's going to be $77 million.
Well, not only that, we've also heard where they are planning on having a second season.
Yeah.
And they're even going to try and add 2 more teams.
Yes.
So, once you put in the administrative costs plus, the startup costs for the season, getting ready for season number 2, this thing is probably going to become $120, $130 million by the end of the year, easy.
Pretty much. I mean, they're living off a lot now. I read a report that they're living off. WWF New York has done phenomenal business, more so than they thought, and a lot of the profits from that are basically being, drenched away with the XFL. And actually, now they did expect to lose money though. They knew going in they were going to lose money, and I think they projected about $23 million.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong.
Is what they're going to lose.
Didn't they say, best case scenario, they wouldn't actually show a profit for 3 or 4 years with this?
That's what they said.
They were prepared for the long haul.
They weren't prepared for $76 million.
Yeah, obviously not $76 million your first year.
There's no way. So anyway, yeah, the big $1 million game is on this weekend. So enjoy. I'm going to watch, though. I'll watch the $1 million game.
But Los Angeles and San Francisco, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. Okay.
This
will be fun.
I have no idea how those, I have no idea how those two teams got there. I thought it was like Orlando Rage, and the Hitmen were like the big teams in the XFL. Shows you how much I've been following.
A lot of the places like your BW3s and your sports bars, they do have like XFL QB1.
Yeah.
Which is a great bar football game if you've never played it during the NFL season.
Sure.
So you can do it with the XFL. So, that's get some friends together, go eat some wings, and play some QB1.
Yeah, but how do you keep up with the rule changes during the game?
That's
true.
the problem. Is we have to upgrade the software like every 10 minutes.
Then it becomes a drinking game. You take a shot every time they change a rule.
That's right. Let's see, in a couple other news for you. Jim Ross has come out and said that the Big Show did not say what many of us think that he said on Monday.
Yeah, he did.
He did not. No, Shawn. Jim Ross said so.
Yeah, that's right.
Jim Ross is lying.
If you don't know what we're talking about, essentially when Big Show was talking about Kai and Tai with Shane McMahon, he said, can you believe what those two little... Now, to me also, and to Shawn, because we were talking on the phone, it sounded like he said gooks.
Right.
With a K.
With a K.
Not an F as in Frank.
Now, Jim Ross has come out and said that no, he said goofs. And what happened was that, he was just stumbling over the words real fast, and he didn't enunciate as well. Yeah, go ahead,
The
Shawn.
bizarre thing is this morning they put it on the website.
They put it on the website, and it's already off.
Yeah, on WWF.com, they put the uncensored version of it, and if you listen to it, it sounds like what we originally thought it was, like
Right.
it was the racial slur. And immediately, by 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, it was taken down by them.
As soon as word broke that it was on WWF site, it was off that quick.
But if you have something that could be that much of a powder keg, why do you put it on there other than for one reason, and that's what the only thing Vince McMahon's into right now is shock value.
Yes.
Because there's no threat. There's no competition. He can do whatever he wants, and he's going to do that.
Sure.
And it's all about the shock value.
Most definitely, and when you have Heyman on board too, I mean, that's just added shock value.
Right. Now, it was interesting because Dave Scheer from OneWrestling.com, he speculated that it could be a way that maybe Vince wants to basically get rid of the Big Show.
Very possibly.
And if he publicizes this, and you have the PTC and other media outlets start to bring pressure on the WWF, he could then use that to get rid of the Big Show, to fire him and get rid of that, 10-year, $10 million contract, whatever it is.
Exactly.
And basically say, look, we're trying to be better. We got rid of him.
But given the recent lawsuits that were brought against WCW, and let's not ignore the fact that it's wrong and stupid to use such a slur.
Absolutely.
It's just plain wrong. But in light of recent lawsuits brought by Sonny Ono and others against WCW, that's a pretty dumb way to try and get rid of a guy.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. I also have there's a story out right now that Pete Rose was actually supposed to be at WrestleMania.
Really?
But he did not like the idea that they had for him. I guess they had him coming out from the crowd in a mask and then jumping over the guardrail and attacking Kane.
What do you want to do?
And I don't know. He just
wanted to bet on the matches, man.
He didn't like that idea, and so he no-showed. They actually had
him booked, and he no-showed.
They had him booked, and he no-showed.
Wow.
So
He's hanging out with Sabu and Road Dogg now.
That's it. So you'll see Pete Rose selling himself on eBay real soon. And also the Pillman Show. Looks like it's down to 2 sites, Sports Plus, or also they're in talks with the Oak Hills High School.
Yeah.
To have Pillman Show there.
Good venues for that event. I mean, really, an event that should really sell out 10,000-seat arenas.
Should, yeah.
But it's one of those rare events that has such an intimate feel.
Most definitely.
It has that kind of, ECW was great in the small venues because it had an intimate feel, and that's the way they put it out. Pillman is the same way. I think that's a very intimate event, and to have it in some sprawling arena, I think doesn't really do the event justice. That's just my opinion.
I agree 100%. I think, the first year it was, at the high school. It was a great event. Second year, then they took it to the Gardens, and it was almost too big for the Gardens. And then, actually, I kind of liked Xavier Fieldhouse, though.
I did too.
I like the feel of it. It was just so hot inside that building.
Well, can we talk about why it's not at Xavier Fieldhouse?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think we can. The people there, the people who live around the Fieldhouse got kicked because of the parking.
Yes.
And if anybody who went last year, the parking was pretty bad. There just wasn't simply enough space to park.
No, not at all.
So that's why it's not there. And the Sports Plus, I think it seats 3,000.
Yeah, something like that.
What we looked at, and it looks great.
I think Sports Plus would be a great place to have it.
Yeah,
most definitely.
I do too. Hey, Cam, appreciate you guys coming out on short notice, and you guys have a great show, and best of luck.
All right,
thanks, Shawn.
Thank you very much.
Shawn Stidham, wrestling guy, on the line.
The original hardcore wrestling guy.
That's right. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to get in touch with Big Daddy Raj Cox and hear what his major announcement is. And you're listening to The Wrestling Guys
on Buckeye Country 106.5.
Wrestling Guys radio show. I am Willie F. Cam the Man Collins sitting in here with us this week. Shawn is off on Baby Watch, which is kind of like Baywatch, but not really.
No, it's nothing like Baywatch.
Nothing like Baywatch.
Baby Watch 2001.
Actually, you're watching a whole different area when you have Baby Watch over Baywatch. And Joe on the other side, and we're
Good old JT.
JT?
Good old JT.
All right, that's where he's going by now, I guess. Okay. You can also, we'll be taking your phone calls here shortly, 457-1065. What? Joe.
He's got that little howdy doody hat.
I love when we do things that people can't see at home.
It's beautiful.
Anyway, we have the Celebrity Hotline, and on there is none other than from Unified Championship Wrestling, Big Daddy Raj Cox.
UCW.
See, yeah, there it
Doesn't
is.
that sound like that NWO thing?
It kind of did.
I know. I like it.
All right. So Raj, what's going on? You have a big announcement.
Man, I've got May the 19th, Dayton, Ohio. I'm bringing in some more ECW talent. Returning, though, for one of you guys is Francine.
Oh, see, there you go.
And she ain't too happy with Cam the Man Collins.
Uh-oh.
Hey, I'm not even saying anything for fear of what might happen.
And she's bringing this time with her Jack Victory.
Jack Victory, who just turned on Steve Carino.
And you know why?
Why is that?
Because Steve Carino kept him in the background.
No, okay.
I mean, if I know that the TV shows, at the end wasn't too good, you couldn't hardly get them nowhere, but I had some of the tapes, and I watched Steve Carino kind of boast about how he was a champion, that, how he was the main man, and Jack Victory was his lackey.
Right.
So I don't blame him.
Okay, so
he's coming into Dayton, and he wants to challenge for the UCW heavyweight title, and the record is more than willing to give him a shot.
All right, so that's going to be May 19th, and
it's going to be at the Burkhart Center. Can you believe that?
That's great. That's like right smack down, right outside of Dayton.
Right.
Very easy to get to.
And leading up to that show, we also have a show over at the Stuart Patterson Park, and that's on May the 5th. We're going to do a series of shows over there on Saturday afternoons from 2 to 4 p.m. And the ticket price is like $3, so you can't beat that at all. And it's going to be TV tapings.
Not at all. And for more information, they can call the UCW hotline.
Right,
and go ahead.
640-2794. And I don't update it every day. I don't have time. But you can find out about the shows all the time.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Hey, Cam, where you been?
Man, you
I
know
heard
what?
you've been hanging out in Detroit or somewhere.
Me and Detroit, we go way back.
Yeah,
I'll just leave it at that.
I know. How's your crew? You know,
everybody's great. Thanks for asking. And by the way,
Yeah.
I want to ask this question, and it's a serious question.
Okay.
Now, we all know that Aaron, the wrecker, had some problems.
Right.
In fact, one of the last times I hosted this show, that night was when it happened. How's
Right.
his health?
The record is back 250%, or is that 250 pounds? No, it can't be 250
That's a
pounds.
lightweight. for
Yeah,
the
that's a
record,
light heavyweight.
250.
But Aaron's doing good, man. He actually, we've done a couple of shows. We did some shows up in Detroit with Huck, and we've got another one. Matter of fact, next week where Aaron's going to be down there in some action. We're going to do some singles action.
All right. Sounds great.
So Aaron's doing good. And how's your health doing, Cam?
Mine is fine.
I'm going to talk to Francine, and you might be, hopefully your health stays up.
It will.
All right.
I'm confident.
Hey, where's Shawn at?
Shawn has baby watch tonight.
Oh, that's right. Hey, tell him congratulations if he has the baby tonight. If not, I'll call him tomorrow and say it.
All right.
Because I don't know if I heard he was like on like a 24-hour anytime, any day now.
Yes, it's one of those. It's one of those times, and hopefully Beth is being calm and collective.
Right,
right. Beth, breathe.
Yes, breathe,
Take
Beth.
deep breaths in case Shawn has passed out.
Focus point.
Focus.
Focus
Breathe.
point.
Get her some ice chips. Somebody get her some ice chips.
Well, I just want to tell you guys are doing a great job with the hotline and the radio show, and all the fans of Dayton should appreciate this, especially the way wrestling is today with Vince McMahon owning everything. At least he doesn't own the wrestling guys.
He doesn't own it. Not yet.
Well, I'm sure you'll sell out if he calls, right?
Well, it depends.
We are going on eBay, though.
Yeah, we're going to go on.
Well, I got some stuff from WCW I might put on there, so don't worry about that.
Might as well.
Well, you guys take it easy, man. Thanks for calling, and I'll call you, Cam, later. Talk to you about
Oh, that
some other
sounds
stuff.
that sounds fun.
Okay.
All right.
You guys
Thanks for calling
take
in,
it
Raj.
easy. Listen to the wrestling guys.
All right.
Peace out, guys.
I think they are listening to the wrestling.
I was gonna say it's great when you plug something that you're already on. But
I just want to know what he sounded kind of sweet on you there, Cam.
No, to be
Call
honest,
you later.
To be honest with
Talk to you about other things.
I hate that guy. All right, let's just put that out there.
Oh, Roger's
So
a
May
good
19th,
guy.
Burkhardt Center, Francine, Jack Victory, and call the UCW hotline for more info on that. Of course, listen to the wrestling guys, and of course we will give you all the info on that. Also, 457-1065.
Are you sure? It's
yes.
not 106 point?
I know. I'm not going to do
Okay.
that tonight.
Okay.
I'm not going to do that tonight. What else? Let's talk about Raw this week. Actually, I thought Raw was pretty weak.
It was.
In conjunction with that, I guess while we're on that topic, a lot of people are blaming the fact that there's no competition for Raw being bad. And what I want to point out is that Raw has actually not been... I mean, it's had its moments, I guess.
It's had its moments.
It's been going down for a while. Ratings, everything, the quality of the programming. We were talking about it before WrestleMania even. People were concerned that WrestleMania was not going to be a good show.
Right.
Because of the Monday Night Raws were just poor.
Yeah, I mean, Shawn and I we were talking as we do. Normally, I talk to Cam and I talk to Shawn also on Mondays during the show, and I actually thought that at one point that WCW had actually bought the WWF and not the other way around. It just seemed like Raw was playing like a Nitro, and things weren't making sense. Now, my personal thing is as far as Austin, Austin gets punked out by Matt Hardy and then says, okay, I'm going to leave.
Right.
Now, granted, some people may say, well, that's a classic, that's a classic heel move. But at the same time, it's like, well, Austin's already been built up. He's the guy that it's not going to take that.
That's what he made his career out of.
Right.
When he was a heel before, when he was battling Bret Hart was the face, and he did a big turnaround. He still didn't back down from it.
No, it just didn't make any sense him just leaving.
It took Austin and Hunter down a level rather than brought up a level of the Hardys.
Right. I agree, and also, I'm just wondering how many people got fired for that technical snafu at the end.
That was horrible. Oh, we were talking on the phone.
Yeah.
And next thing we know, we're hearing a bell. And you look, and it's like they did not just miss the finish of the match.
Yes, they did.
And they did. And the crowd didn't even pop.
No. Not at all,
because they were probably watching the Titans.
Yeah, exactly.
What was going on, and their attention was elsewhere. There's no excuse.
It was a pretty bad Raw.
You touch on WrestleMania. Let's look ahead at Backlash. Now, without giving away any of the spoilers for SmackDown this week, we can tell you that there are multiple title changes. We're not going to tell you who, but there are multiple title changes. And after seeing those title changes, you're going to see a lot of what's being set up for Backlash. And the card on Backlash really isn't looking that impressive either.
It's not looking that impressive. There's a couple matches, and if you want to know what happens on SmackDown, call the Wrestling Guys hotline.
And I've got 2 words for that, and that's after you call the hotline or you watch SmackDown tomorrow night, 2 words will come to mind, and that's bad idea.
Yeah.
And WWF, if you're listening, change it. You have time. Change it.
Yeah,
please.
they have a little over a week to change it, but there's one match that I'm looking forward to.
Yes,
and that's about it.
That match we can probably announce because it really has no bearing on anything. That is the, and I'm assuming you're thinking of the same one I am, that is the 30-minute submission match between Chris Benoit and my boy, Kurt Angle.
Right.
It's like a mini Iron Man match. How many times can you make the other man submit within 30 minutes?
Right. And that's about the only match I'm looking forward to. I think the main event, which we've already announced what it was going to be, we announced a few weeks ago, Austin and Triple H versus Undertaker and Kane.
With a twist now.
Well, with a twist now, but still at the same time, I don't see that.
That just came out of the blue.
But I don't see that happen.
But see, this twist has been done before.
I just don't see that doing a lot.
It seems rushed. Because as we were talking last week on this show, if you had to pick the main event for Backlash, you wouldn't know.
Right.
But if you had to pick what Kane and Undertaker would be doing, it would be going against Big Show and somebody else in some fashion.
Exactly. Or going up, against the tag titles. Something along those lines.
I am just thanking the Lords above that the main event is not Austin Hunter against the Hardys, because I would refuse to pay money to see that at a pay-per-view.
I would actually rather see that. To be honest with you, I would rather see that.
Because they're
Austin and Triple H against Undertaker and Kane, because what you've got basically is 4 moves on one side of the ring, but they happen to be identical, so it's actually, they're duplicating each other's moves with Undertaker and Kane.
Punch, punch, kick, kick.
Some limited mobility on Austin's part, and Triple H is the lone guy who could actually probably carry the match for a great deal of time.
But now Austin,
who's he got to carry it with?
Now I'll defend Austin a little bit and say the guy's been able to step up when he's needed to, and actually put on some really good matches when he's had somebody to have good matches.
I love the main event of WrestleMania.
I like that, and when he was in the ring with Regal, I thought he had a great match, and when he was in the ring with Benoit, I thought he had a great match.
You know what gets me about Austin? Is he's willing to sell to Matt Hardy about quote-unquote getting his butt kicked.
Right.
But yet, you think back 2 or 3 years ago, he refused to get in a program with a wrestler who's equal or, if not better, than Hardy, and that is Jeff Jarrett.
Right.
Definitely better than Matt Hardy.
I don't know.
As far as the ring works.
We're going to have to see how Raw and SmackDown, because I'm not really looking forward to the pay-per-view yet. Of course, are you looking forward to the pay-per-view? That's kind of a poll question we'll throw out there tonight. Actually, let's go to the phone lines right now, and we have Enrique. Enrique, you're on the Wrestling Guys.
Hey.
What is up, Enrique?
Nothing much, man. It's Henrik.
Oh, I'm sorry. I like giving you a little bit more flair.
He's making you sound like a porn star.
Say?
Hey, don't mess with me, man.
All right. What's going on?
What?
What's going on? Well, see, you called in. It's kind of a talk show. You need to, actually, talk.
Yeah, I went to the HWA showcase yesterday.
Yeah.
It's a feud between BJ Whitmer and Ash Parker is developing.
Yeah, very much so. I heard about that.
Yep. And that fat weasel Brock Guffman hit Cody Hawk with the megaphone and busted him open.
I read that also. I read that, Brock Guffman basically hit Cody Hawk a couple times with the megaphone. And then after that, Shark Boy came out and, thankfully made the save.
Yeah, hallelujah. Now, May 5th, I believe, Blanchester. So it should be a good show.
Yeah, I know that's probably about an hour and 20 minutes away for a lot of people, but that town in Blanchester, if you've never seen a show there, actually is a great town to see a show. That crowd that the HWA draws there is so explosive and live. I mean, there's maybe 200, 300 people there, but they are so loud. And, definitely old school crowd that gets into everything.
And it doesn't really matter if you've got 40 people in a crowd, which we've both worked in front of,
sure,
or you've got 600, which we've both worked in front of. The 600 dead people, basically, can make a show as bad as just having 10 people in a crowd.
Yeah, most definitely.
It makes you feel worse, actually. But if you can get a good crowd of 200 people to pop like mad, that is so huge for a show. It makes all the difference in the world.
Nothing says silence like 600 people not saying anything.
That's true. So how's the HWA showcase shows coming? Any more word on that?
They're coming slowly, but we've worked out a plan to help me catch up.
Okay.
Because my mom was ill, and I couldn't do any of the work.
Right.
So it all fell behind, but now we're going to catch up. We're going to do the first 6 showcase shows, which will be available on sale as soon as they're done, and then we're just going to literally jump to the recent shows so that I'll be caught up enough that the weekly shows will almost be even.
Oh, that sounds great.
To the point where every showcase show will be about 3 weeks behind, so that way we never fall behind.
He's a busy, busy man.
And he's got his priorities in line. Mom's sick. Help take care of her. Put the wrestling on the back burner.
That's right.
And also I'm going to be making a documentary from the HWA guys. I don't know when I'm going to do that, but it's going to be like showcasing Matt Stryker, Cody Hawk, and I believe, who else was I? Oh, Ash Parker.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just basically copying off of Beyond the Mat completely.
Hey. Well, that's good. Throw that out there so that they can slap you with a copyright infringement suit.
Complete with Jake the Snake Roberts segments. That's right. Jake the Rake. What's the difference?
I want to know who's going to play Jake's role then.
Yeah.
I also went on Max Payne's website and downloaded that trailer.
It's an amazing trailer, isn't it?
Yeah, except I downloaded the low-quality version. It was so pixelated, I was kind of confused, but...
That's why you need to get a DSL modem.
Yeah, really.
Definitely.
Oh, I also...
The wrestling/computer guy.
Yeah, don't get us started.
We have everything on this show.
I also started a website about HWA stuff.
Okay.
I put like interviews on it and junk.
Uh-huh.
And it's www.hwafanpage.homestead.com.
hwafanpage.homestead.com.
Yep.
All right. I'll go check that out.
Cool.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, have a good
All
day.
right, keep up the good work. All right. There you go. HWA, of course, HWA. We do want to, there's a couple things we want to talk about HWA as far as, yes, they have the free Tuesday shows, and they are far enough away from the riot scenes in Cincinnati that you can feel perfectly safe and call area code 513-771-1650 for more information on that. And also, they are coming to the Grand Victoria Casino on May 11th, and we will be having one of the people that is in the main event on, and that is Ray Steele. He's going to be taking on Chris Benoit on that show. So we'll talk to Race around 8:30 and also talk to him about his time in the WWF that he just had over the past 2 days. Let's go back to the phones, and let's go with Bud Rowe. Bud Rowe, you're on the Wrestling Guys.
Yes, I am.
I'm sorry, we have to go to break.
Oh, I'm sorry, we have to go to break. And back from the break, we'll be taking more of your phone calls at 457-1065. You're listening to the Wrestling Guys
on Buckeye Country 106.5.
Today's the day to brag. We're back on the Wrestling Guys.
It's amazing some of the bodily sounds that are made when the microphones are off. You know?
It is, actually. You're listening to the Wrestling Guys, Buckeye Country 106.5, Willie F., along with Cam the Man Collins, and now what was it again? JT?
Good old JT.
Good old JT.
Good old JT.
On the other 457-1065. We are taking your phone calls right now, and let's go back to the phone calls and go with Don Bruce. You're on with the Wrestling Guys.
Hey, how you guys doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Hey, well, I'm a casual wrestling fan. I've watched it since the 80s. I've got friends that are rabid about it, watch all the pay-per-views, and I've been kind of following it a little bit with the WCW WWS thing. And you guys are talking tonight about they're not going to pick up some contracts.
Yeah. Well, Time Warner actually has, they're trying to get out of the contracts. There was a lot of contracts that the WWF said, we're not picking those guys up because basically they want to renegotiate. when you have a Goldberg that's getting paid $3 million a year, and really, I don't think Vince wants to pay Goldberg that.
Well, that's
I mean,
understandable.
well, it's not just that. It's you have to understand that the way WWF works. I mean, they have a lot of incentives on, and they have a lot of more merchandising percentages that the guys get, and so actually they might make even more than that, than the $3 million. But the initial investment is what they don't want to do.
And more importantly, they have to work.
Yeah,
for that money.
Exactly.
Yeah,
they do.
You're talking two completely different pay structures.
Yep, very much so.
And AOL, Time Warner, obviously wanting to cut costs and try and usher these guys out of their contracts, and if they don't want to wrestle, they have no incentive to be bought out.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. And
What's going to happen to these guys? And when they disappear, is anyone going to step up? I mean, ECW is disappearing. There's no one else really on the horizon that's going to step in and take up a fight against WWF. So what's going to happen to these guys?
Well, a lot of these guys still have, Nash, I think, still has like a year on his contract. Goldberg has about 2 or 3 years on his contract. So these guys really, the ball is in their court as far as, they can basically sit out and wait and see if there's going to be any other person that's going to step up to, become a competitor to the WWF. Now, and there's I guess Mean Gene Okerlund was on a talk show and said that there is this hardcore group of guys that are pretty much going to, dead set and starting a promotion up. We've also heard about Dusty Rhodes and his Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling, that they're going to start up going pretty hardball, and in fact even having a pay-per-view on in the fall. So I think these guys are just going to sit back and say, well, if I know that I'm not going to get the price that I want from the WWF, why don't I just, sit back, collect the money that I'm going to get, and then maybe in a couple years there is going to be competition, and maybe somebody will want to pay me the price that I want.
That's a good point. Well, so what's the short-term future then? What's going to happen with the regionals? Do you guys see any regional that you think is going to step up over the next couple of years and be any type of a challenge?
I don't think that anyone's going to step up and be a challenge to WWF, because I don't think anyone really has that money to be able to step up.
Right.
Probably the closest would be, the NWA, because they have so many different factions of the NWA. But the thing is, when you have so many different factions, it's pretty much unorganized, and I don't think a lot of those factions talk to one another.
Right. They ran basically, kind of like they were in the 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, really, they're separate entities all under the same umbrella. But you look at, I think ECW gave a lot of promotions hope that the little guy could come up. But after what happened, I think it kind of quieted those waters a little bit. I mean, people are going to be more cautious before they just try and bring something to the table like that.
I think the independents will still be able to thrive as long as there's still a want for wrestling. And with the decline of the ratings in WWF, you kind of wonder, is wrestling going into a decline right now?
And there should be some recognizable names available at better prices, for lack of a better term, available to the independent circuit.
Right.
And you should see some of the names show up, and the indie guys could probably afford that and make a return on that investment a lot easier now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, what about USA? Are they going to try and get back into wrestling at all in any form? I mean, they have that long-standing relationship with WWF.
Absolutely. I don't think absolutely not. And the reason is USA basically came out and said that they wanted, more highbrow entertainment. And actually, Shawn told me about this, and I'll pass this along too. I think he put this on his hotline report at one point. They want the highbrow entertainment, but at the same time, one of the new shows that USA Network has coming up is Cannonball Run 2001.
All right.
And which is going to be a reality-based TV show based on the movie, and they're actually trying to get Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise to do commentating on it. So they've gone really highbrow.
Yeah, that's scary.
And then you look at the Turner Network, and the ratings for the movies that they've been putting on have been getting just the same rating that Nitro was getting, and you don't have that overhead of a live production. So I don't see anyone getting into. Fox Sports, I guess, was the closest, or Fox really wanted to. Rupert Murdoch has been wanting to get into wrestling for quite some time.
He wants to own everything.
Well, yeah, and I don't think it's any secret that I don't think him and Vince don't get along very well.
I think it's going to take deep pockets, number one,
Yeah.
for somebody who can make that investment over the first couple of years. But not only that, but you're going to have to get a group of guys, and this should be easy to find, a group of guys who are hell-bent on ruining Vince McMahon and the WWF. I think that's going to come up first before the deep pockets.
I'm sure Vince has a lot of
Mushnick Wrestling Association.
That's it, exactly.
Well, the Parents Television Council could always start up their own organization, too.
That's right. Well, they could back that one. There was, I can't remember what the organization was called, but there was a religious one where, I think, no, seriously, there was one, and it was all based on religious characters and everything.
The Nice Wrestling Federation, where we talk out our problems in the ring.
That's right. Yeah, we discuss everything. But no, I think DiBiase.
You hugged for a 3 count.
I think DiBiase was involved in that at one point. They were doing it was like wrestling in church. It was really strange.
Wow.
I want to see tapes of that.
Yeah.
It was definitely. Don, what else you got?
Tonight, Adam versus Eve in a steel cage match.
It's in a steel cage match. It's a ladder match, and they have to grab the apple to win the match.
If it was the WWF, they'd have the crucifixion match.
Yeah, that's right.
And they've been pretty damn close on that.
Pretty much close. Don, what else you got?
That's really it, guys.
All right.
First time I really listened to your show. You sound great, though.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate it.
Have a good night.
All right, you too.
All right, bye.
All right, let's go back to... Yeah, go
real
ahead,
fast. Everyone keeps talking about what's this next promotion coming up. When are we going to see wrestling on other channels? I'm still waiting. I've been waiting 15 years to see Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling on the Cartoon Network, so, I'm still waiting for that myself.
I thought they were going to put that on at one point.
I have no idea.
I'm serious. I thought they were going to put that on.
There are people pimping that video on eBay. You can buy the complete collection out on eBay, and I cannot believe that I've seen.
Or actually, I thought WWF was even going to put that out at one point. There was talk that WWF was going to use that and put that out because basically they own the rights to it.
Amazing.
So that would be interesting. One thing that a lot of people have been asking on the hotline too, and I guess this is a good time to bring it up as far as. With the WWF basically getting all of WCW's back catalog, all the matches, would the 24-hour wrestling channel come into play? And I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't either. And the main reason is because what I considered a great idea was ESPN Classic Channel.
Yeah.
And it's not even widely available. And you're talking mainstream sports.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to talk about the power of the wrestling fans, and while it is great, and it's bigger now than it ever has been before, I still don't think it warrants enough of its own channel nationwide on cable. That's just my opinion, and people can argue it one way or the other. It'd be great to see, but it's obvious there aren't enough old-school wrestling fans out there to push for that type of thing. Otherwise, we would see an old-school wrestling federation.
Yeah, very true. Well, you might see it, because I think that's what... Gene Okerlund was alluding to.
I thought we did see it with WCW.
Kind of.
No, that was old-timers.
Yes, kind of. Let's go back to the phone.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Now, before L2K starts, I want to duly note he was not hung up on this week.
Okay, thank you very much, Joe.
I was happy on that one. Well, first of all, I just have to get off, because after I got off last week, I heard the Undertaker guy just in the Spanish Fly.
Yeah. Expecting one real soon, so.
And parents should honestly, I think, opportunities to let your kids see what wrestling is really about.
Mm-hmm.
Because kids do tend to think it's real.
Yeah, most definitely.
Your perception of real and the argument can go one way or the other, but nonetheless, you can educate very well. If nothing else, parents watch it, learn it, and then tell your kids what's really going on and how it's put together and how this stuff can legitimately paralyze or kill someone.
Yeah.
That's the responsibility to do.
I remember back when I originally saw the Ricky Steamboat, the Randy Savage with the ring bell, when he originally heard him right before WrestleMania 3, I was in hysterics. I thought it was real, this and that. My parents said, look, it's not real, whatever. They got a ring bell. They hit me. They showed me, the difference between...
Right.
Sure.
And when I powerbomb my kid, I always make sure
and
it's
that
on
stuck
a soft
with you all this time.
Exactly.
Right. When I powerbomb, and like when you powerbomb Graham, it's always on a soft surface. I mean, we're not stupid,
Oh, we're going to another break?
We have to.
Oh, my
Break
gosh.
happy. What, you think we got bills to pay?
That's well, maybe we do.
Pay my salary.
And you'll be making more of our salary when you join us after these commercials with the wrestling guys.
Here on Buckeye Country 106.5.
Next time you're back. I think we've been playing the game all night, but, they're telling us it's time to play now. You are listening to the Wrestling Guys on Buckeye Country 106.5. I am Willie F. He is Cam the Man Collins sitting in for Shawn Stidham. And we have Joe on the board taking your phone calls at 457-106.5.
106.5?
Why do I do that? So I swear. There's actually, speaking of that, if you ever do a radio show, never listen to a tape of yourself of it.
No.
Never. Trust me.
Because you are your own worst critic.
You could have a drinking game based on a lot of my responses. In fact, I listened one night to the show that we did 2 weeks ago, and I have never known how much did I say,
We know.
You know how much I say,
You also
if
say...
you could take a shot every time you said one that, and then Shawn got really infectious with it, and he started saying it.
Yeah. You could use a few more. Cam's the man. Just point that out.
I'll try to use
I didn't hear
Cam's
that.
I'll try to use Cam's
Actually,
the
if you
man
could
now.
combine and say, Cam's the man.
Yeah, let's do that.
Throw it out in mid-sentence.
Let's go back to the phone lines. We have on line 4, West Side. You're on the Wrestling Guys.
Yo, West Side in the house.
In the house.
What's up, Willie?
What's up?
Hey, my question,
Okay.
Yes. You want to know why I hate McMahon? Look what he did on Monday night. He takes a good-looking honey and baits her.
I know.
You don't do a honey like that.
No, you don't.
China, she's big old brute. You know she can whip some honey. But take a honey like that, and that's what wrestling's came to. Beating some woman just so somebody can turn into a heel.
Yeah. Can you believe that?
I don't understand that at all. That's the reason I hate Vince McMahon.
You know what, though? I'm sorry to cut you off, Westside, but if you think back to Georgia Championship Wrestling, and I believe you used to watch that.
Oh, yeah.
What did the Road Warriors do to, was it Mark Youngblood?
Yeah.
They took a wrestler, a Native American, and they painted him
That's right.
yellow.
That's right.
And in the form of war paint.
Right.
That drew absolutely zero controversy then, but it established the Road Warriors as some of the best heels in the history of the business.
But that was a man, not now.
Westside, what are you doing with your voice now?
I just want to clearly note.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I want to clearly note that it was 1 hour, 51 minutes, and 34 seconds into the show when someone actually referred to it as wrestling.
All right. Well, that's good. Thanks.
Outstanding.
All right. Let's keep going. We got Enrique. Is this Enrique of Miami Valley Cable Council?
Yep.
All right. How are you doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
What's going on?
Excuse me?
Well, what's going on? Well, you see, you called here, so obviously you should have a purpose.
Yes, I have a purpose.
Okay.
I heard Kirk on here earlier, and he told me he was going to be on, so I thought I'd call and talk about the cable council stuff for HWA.
Most definitely. Go ahead. Lay it on.
Basically, they're moving very, very slowly.
As a lot of times they do.
Slower than a Florida voter.
But it'll be worth it, though.
Yeah.
Slower than the Iron Sheik went to the ring at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's going on? What can you tell us about the HWA on TV?
It's poorly edited. No, I'm just kidding. But this is basically my learning project.
That's right.
The HWA stuff. So it's always fun, though. We get to get the wrestlers down in the studio, and they do voiceovers and stuff, so it's fun.
Yeah, that's right.
That's fun to do, period.
Well, yeah.
That's some of the.
How many shows are officially done right now?
6.
See, there's 6 shows ready to go.
6 in the can.
6 in the can.
Yeah.
And here, guy, this is the guy that's editing this. And Henrique, how old are you?
14.
So he's 14 years old. He's editing.
Wow. HWA hard on.
No, don't, Henrique, don't call it that.
Wait a minute, we've just had.
Les will kill you.
We've just had 6 in the can, and then HWA. What Joe said.
Yes.
I think there are movies.
Take the WCW name. Take those WCW names. Those are good names.
Primal, yeah, HWA Primal Urge.
HWA Primal Urge.
No, it won't work. Enrique, what else you got?
Nothing else much except I met Brock Guffman, and man, he is a rude punk.
See? That's what I've heard too, and I am nowhere like that.
Live the gimmick. That's what I say.
I am nowhere like that.
You are not. You are not. Thank goodness.
Yeah. I'm not,
I bet Brock Guffman steals cable.
Yeah.
He might. I don't know. Anyway, thank you, Enrique, for calling.
Okay, I'll tune in next week.
All right. Thanks a lot. All right. We're wrapping up the show, so let's get back into the news. And actually, I do want... Well, we'll save that. Let's get back into the news. We have the Raw had a 5.4 rating. Highest segments were the Linda McMahon, Vince McMahon with a 6.2. On E this Saturday at 3 o'clock, you will see the Women of WCW special that maybe a lot of you missed the first time because you really just didn't care. Well, now you can reflect back on the time when you didn't care the first time and watch it.
And those women will probably videotape it and use that as part of their resume.
I would say that's probably a good idea. WCW returns on Saturday, June the 9th, out of Fairfax, Virginia. Some of the names, and you can go on WCW.com right now and vote for, are WCW Saturday Night Nitro, WCW Hot Box, WCW Uprising, WCW Late Night Appetite, WCW Primal Urge, and Joe's favorite, in fact, he's going to take it home and take it to bed with him, WCW Hard On Saturday Night.
Now, if they choose Hotbox, if they choose WCW Hotbox, imagine that website, the domain name, WCWHotbox.com. I guarantee you it's already taken.
It's probably...
You must be 18.
Yeah, that's right. You're going to have to have a credit card to get on there. What else? ECW bankruptcy, $7.5 million in debt. Some of the people owed. Rob Van Dam was about $150,000. Joey Styles, $50,000. Shane Douglas is $48,000. And the WWF is owed $587,000. Couple people that they named as owed are also Sabu and Steve Corino, but they both list how much they're owed at $0.
Wow.
So maybe they just wanted to put their name out there. So
paid in full, let it be known.
Paid in full, let it be known, and they're ready for work. Go ahead. And finally, we have... I'm sorry, not finally, because I want to save that for the very last thing. Don't forget that VCW will be in action at the Piqua Guard Armory. That is this Saturday. Bell time is 7 o'clock, I believe. And Cam, the phone number is again?
285-0689.
There you go. And they'll have all the information for you. And thank you for Hoppy for coming on. And as our special announcement tonight, the HWA returns to the Grand Victoria Casino. And yes, we will have tickets to give away on the show. The main event is going to be the HWA heavyweight champion, Ray Steele, who actually, and I didn't say this before, does have a WWF tryout this weekend. He will be taking on the crippler Chris Benoit, that in the main event down there. Tickets on sale at HWA, and you can call them at 771-1650. You can also attend their free Tuesday shows. And finally, and most importantly, we have been monitoring all night the eBay Road Dogg Jesse James auction. Road Dogg Jesse James could come to your house for 2 hours to do whatever you want, and he'll bring along a championship belt along with him.
Gas up the mower.
Joe, what is our final total going off?
Our final total with 5 days and 1 hour remaining, $4,450.
Okay, so it hasn't moved.
Rip off.
It hasn't moved at all. Of course, we will keep you posted on the Wrestling Guys hotline at 285-0991 on that.
And take our advice, book him for $1,500. Guarantee you he shows up.
Shows up. Probably show up for a six-pack at this point. But you know, well, it might.
It's funny because the winner right now is roaddogsmom.com.
It's Road
That's my roadie.
That's my roadie.com. Anyway, Cam the Man Collins, thank you for coming in. A very enjoyable
Been a
show.
lot of fun.
Joe, thank you once again for monitoring the boards. And thank you for listening to The Wrestling Guys
here on Buckeye Country 106.5.
Good night, Dayton.